Indeed, join the league now. We are join the league now. We're on season 4 for AMX Race 1. We're on ACC, and you know what that means is GT time with the GT cars, in particular the GT3 class around Brands Hatch in Kent, the former home of the British Grand Prix and the site of many races from different series, the likes of BTCC and British Superbikes. It's a pleasure to be here, and we can't wait for it to get underway here. What promises to be some exciting races around a very, very fast track. Hello then from Amir, and alongside me is Connor, who was racing last week as I was talking to him in the V8 Supercars around Bathurst, which of course was taking place over the weekend. We'll talk about V8 Supercars in a moment, but Connor, great to be here, isn't it? Especially given the fact that GT3s around Brands Hatch is a really good combination.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, Brands Hatch is such an iconic track. GT3s is across the board at the moment. A lot of manufacturers, and yeah, it should be good racing here tonight.
Certainly, and the combination itself has always been seen in sprint races, and this is exactly what it is. It's 40 minutes run twice with the sprints around Brands Hatch. So we go with the socials first at the bottom. Here we go. That's AMX Global on Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, aka also X now, Discord, YouTube, and our website amxrace.com, which you can sign up even as we are going live right now with the qualifying session getting underway pretty soon. And of course, short form content you can check out on TikTok to see any of the funny incidents or really great overtaking that happened. Now then, before we get to the nitty gritty, let's go through a bit of housekeeping here to see the picture being laid out before we get into the actual racing. So then, first up is the overview for Season 4. We'll be running from January 27th all the way to April 21st with a prize pool of up to $20,000 and next level racing gear up for grabs towards the end of the season. With races held throughout the entire season in a variety of car and track combos. This, however, is completely different from the iRacing format that most of us are accustomed to. For this season, the Assetto Corsa Competizione is 20 minutes of qualifying and then a 40-minute race with one mandatory pit stop between, so it really lives up to the sprint format. Now then, next up will be the other part of the overview. This is where we just get some details in between, like the likes of driver cap, with drivers joining via Discord or the website, with balances of $100 payout every month, with races held every Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday, where you can sign up anytime at amxrace.com. Now then, next up, it will be the scheduling that we have here in AMX Global Season 4. And it's a pretty much homogeneous schedule compared to previous seasons where we had different time zones put in between, which for some people in the Americas where there's 4 time zones, especially in the United States, we have one time zone in GMT from 5:50 p.m. On the Tuesday for AMX1 and 7:20 p.m. for AMX10, which applies as well for Saturday and Sunday. Now then, the prize pool up for grabs here. This is straight away the one prize pool that we have, $100 per race, 25 for first, and all the way to 50 cents for 15th, and the other bonus of $4 for fastest lap. So pretty much a big incentive for these guys who are GT3 specialists and who are specialists on ACC to get their money's worth here today. Now then, moving on to the leaderboard here that we have for the MX1 Top 12. Connor Healy leads the way with 6 races under his belt and 1 win so far, because the win counts here from both heats combined together and you win at the end of the round. So $71.3 that he has in his pocket, moving up in front of Diego Villarreal, who drops to second because this is on averages as well, on the points up for grabs. And P8, notably, Imran Zahaili won 1 race and he has $32 in his pocket. Fellow countryman and a good friend of mine who's actually racing here, presumably racing here today. Like some other drivers, including Maurizio Lozano, who we saw drove well in TCRs over the Tuesday, and all the way up to Lucas Verle, the other one of the many Brazilians that has taken part, who's raced twice, hasn't won yet, but scored $28.10. Now then, the other part of the different screen compared to iRacing, here's the leaderboard here, from 2nd all the way to 10th, rounded up by Mikael Makowski, 5 points. He's up 3 positions, probably because he took part in a race prior to that, getting some good points. Mauricio Lozano in 8th, behind him, in front of him, the likes of Lois Renier and Fabien Nogier, 2nd and 3rd. But first is Imran Zahaili with 32 points. It's unfortunately not the correct photo of Imran, but he'll probably put it up very soon. he's looking more Brazilian now, I think, by the looks of it, because that's one of the Brazilian drivers that took part in AMX 1 up until recently. Now, we might hit, now we move on out of that as a segue to the promotions here for AMX this season. The GT promotion on the left is a purchase entry free purchase entry fees 3 days before the race. Nearly get my words out of there. And get 30% off, which pertains to all season 4 races this season. With season DC tickets, you can purchase them from AMXrace.com, and getting these tickets available for each class, a total of 6, which provides 50% of all races of purchase class, aka AMX in between AMX 1 and AMX 10. Okay, now then, that's housekeeping on the way. Got a little bit labored there for a second, but we got it for the end. Now, we get to the track and car combos that we're going to be racing here today. So, Connor, take us away here for this particular instance.
Too easy, mate. That was great housekeeping. I did that last night. But moving on to Brands Hatch, a track that we all love and know. It goes across the board when it comes to iRacing, Assetto Corsa, and across everywhere. And talking about Brands Hatch, this is probably one of the most iconic tracks. It's in Kent, in the UK country, opened in 1950, 3Ks long, almost 4Ks. We're almost kissing it. But yeah, it's an awesome track, and a lot of cars drive around here, and a lot of track day cars. And talking about cars, the cars that we love and know, the GT3s. GT3s were adopted by the GT2s and the GT1s back in the day, and now we've got these. So, like last night, 500 horsepower up to 600 horsepower. So that's like your Mercedes that have quite a bit more horsepower. Then rear-wheel drive, 1,200 kilos to 1,300 kilos, and a sequential gearbox with the paddle shift on the back of them. But yeah, splendid cars to drive. But yeah, these are the manufactured cars that are racing today, and I think it's probably the most well-known cars at this point.
Yep, the likes of the Ferrari 296, the Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2 that we saw on screen, BMW M4. No doubt these are some of the popular cars that's going to be raced here today. And a fun little fact about Brands Hatch, which I'm going to go like Lorenzo, where there's...
And yeah, we obviously went over the cars, so let's get on to the get on the track for qualifying now.
Yep, apologies for
and here we go.
Like cutting off for a second. Yep, Connor, am I back now? Yes.
Yeah, you're back now.
Yep, apologies for that. You can go ahead.
Oh, my apologies. So we're in the qualifying now, riding on board with one of the GT3s at the back of the track now. And yellow flag, actually. We just seen one of the marshals on the right-hand side, but we're riding on... Oh, there we go. The McLaren pulled off from the left there, and now back to green flag. This is where the driver can put his foot down for the qualifying now. So a bit of understeer out into the last corner. Now he's onto the back straight now, onto the main straight now, and he's going to start his first lap here. Down to turn 1, use a low braking pressure up to about 90% brake pressure down the hill, and he's actually backed out of the lap, so there goes the lap, and he's going to reset to the pits.
Yeah, not a great way to start here. Sorry, yeah, not a great way to start the run, but maybe it's... Yep, go ahead.
No, I was going to just say, yeah, not the best way to start out, but yeah. Running on the McLaren, and I'm just going to pull up my telemetry. And look at this. Villa from last night, we just saw him racing the 1987 NASCARs, and he's on Assetto Corsa. And did you watch that race last night?
Parts of it, yeah, especially given the fact that 1987 NASCARs, the last NASCAR before the restrictor plates, provided some really fast cars, especially given how one guy, if of course we know, some NASCAR folks will know who he is, Bill Elliott, he did 212 miles per hour, almost 350 kilometers per hour in a 2-ton NASCAR, which is crazy, without restrictor plates going along Talladega. Yeah, the racing was great, but unfortunately I nodded off because had to sleep a while and then go back to doing an endurance race afterwards. But yeah, Godoy, Villarreal, some of the familiar names in iRacing are taking part here right now, Connor.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to see some of our drivers coming across. I was actually thinking about coming across to do one of these races eventually when I have a bit of free time in the schedule. We're riding aboard here with Tiago here. He's looks pretty smooth with the wheel at the moment. Same inputs as iRacing. I'm looking at how he's driving the car, nice and smoothly. I've always noticed about Assetto Corsa Competizione and iRacing. There's quite a few differences. iRacing, you kind of drive under the limit a little bit, but it seems with Assetto Corsa, you want to get on that limit and use a lot of the car and throw it around. Doing well here, coming to the back of the circuit. Now we're going to flick through the cars and have a look. You can talk about this driver.
Yep. Yeah, Mikael Makowski, the pole, and so far not on pole yet. It's just coming onto the track, so this is his out lap, getting ready to warm it up before in, as we have a couple of yellow flags being thrown out here. The thing is, in Assetto Corsa Competizione, it does have a bit of traits like iRacing where you cannot really push too hard on the initial out lap, where you want to conserve the tires and maintain the tread, as these sets of tires are not actually infinite. There's finite number of tires that you can use during the start of a race weekend, and if you use them all up, you cannot have any fresh sets for the start race. And case in point, Makowski unfortunately has gone off there, coming up to Sterling's Bend. So, sorry, up to Surtees into Pilgrim's Drop. This is definitely not the way to start his quality lap, but maybe this is just a way to get a banker lap in, as opposed to wiping it all out in the first lap here, Connor.
Yeah, definitely putting a banker lap down is what you want to do in a qualifying. I've noticed when I've done a lot of esports in my time and a lot of races, you kind of go out in your qualifying lap and get off. You don't really want to go out there and put your banker down straight away. You kind of want to just put a lap down that can go, okay, I've put a lap down, I'm comfortable with that lap, now I can go and push on the limit and see what I can get. But we can see here, Makowski here, just all locked in from the look from the face cam, and he's actually just let fellow McLaren driver through. It looks like the McLaren's a very strong car around here at the moment.
Yep. The second one being Ferraris as well, so it's nice to see that there is not a complete washout of one manufacturer. Otherwise, we'll call it a single make. GT3s and McLarens don't make a single make series as opposed to like Ferrari, Porsche, and Lamborghini. We have Regiego coming through there. He overtook him, so Makowski, not the best of out laps and not the best first laps to even put a banker in, so it's not the best way to start it. In fact, that wasn't Regiego, that was a different driver just now. It had the same initials as REG, but whatever it is, the SDL Esports driver, the Frenchman, by the looks of it, is coming round to give himself a bit of a gap because he saw another car in front, and that is a great segue to a question I was about to ask. When you see when you're in a qualifying lap and you see another guy in front, you're on a fast one, what would you do to get that lap time? Would you actually still go for it, or are you just going to back off and prep yourself for the next lap?
If you're the slower driver in front, you just back off. But if you're the faster guy behind, you normally just keep going. And if the guy in front doesn't move, well, guess where he's going. But no, it looks like a lot of these drivers have been very smooth and very respectful. We can see here, with that last little incident before there, the driver backed off and the guy kept doing his lap. So yeah, it was good to see there having respect. It's always good to see respect on the track. And here's actually our leader on screen using the ultra wide. It's good to see the ultra wides are starting to get more popular through sim racing. I find that it doesn't kill your computer as much. So I think a lot of people are going to ultra wides as a bit of an update, which is good to see.
Yeah, as opposed to triple screens where you had to calculate the bezel and after that try to get the correct FOV without incurring the wrath of the FOV stewards if you were to post it online. That is nice to have, of course, because yeah, it will all be crystal clear. But as opposed to 1920 1080 resolution, you might get screenshots that look a bit awkward if you upload it online.
Riding on board with Nico, and we can I don't know what's in that camera. I don't know what we're really looking at, but Nico running aboard here down into turn 1, and I think he's put a decent lap time down at the moment, currently in P4, and running on board with him now. See what the wheel works like around here with the McLaren. Oh, he's just a bit oversteer on the exit there, and I think I can see his face in that camera. Oh, there, I can see something.
Well, he's not wearing a hat, that's for sure, because yeah, he's not wearing a hat because normally he does wear some little nods to pop culture, whether it's a Mario hat or a Santa hat. That's why we call him Saint Nikolai.
Oh, really?
Saint Nicholas, Saint Nick. But he goes off there. Unfortunately, that will probably scuff up his lap, as yeah, he's gonna have to really wind that up in the final 3 minutes here, Connor.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to have to try and find a little bit of pace. It looks like there's about a 2-second gap from where he is to our pole driver at the moment. And talking about other drivers, Tyler, a fellow American. Good to see an American out here. We see a couple of Americans get out here now. Tim State's one of them. I was talking to him last night. Having a great interview, just saying that he's improved massively. So big shout out to Tim State. But riding on the Tyler here. And yeah, he's doing really well here in P5. Hard on the brakes here, getting off it, driving off the corner now. But yeah, Tyler looks like he's very comfortable with the car. Oh, a bit of a wiggle on exit there, the 227. And I was going to say, I'm surprised we're not seeing any Porsches. Can you kind of clarify on that?
Yeah, probably in terms of performance, it's kind of like where the car is balanced out as, McCallum goes off into the barriers there. I'm not sure what's written on his little whiteboard because he goes for a bit of a Jimmy Broadbent style vibe where he can ride and try to motivate himself. But going back to your question there, yeah, Porsches may not be the strongest around here. The BOP, of course, changes with every update. We're currently at 1.9.8. This particular build, the McLaren seem to be fast around Brands Hatch, and that is proven to be the case, with McLaren's now occupying the top 4 of the top 5 spots, led by Regier, with Noigier in second, Lozano in third, the fastest of the Ferraris, Barrios fourth, and Godoy, we saw just now, who had a bit of an off trying to let Tyler through. He's in fifth. There he is. Oh, in fact, that's Villarreal right behind, following him through. McCullough crosses the line. No improvement there. Still 2.3 seconds behind Lois Regier.
Yeah, and these guys are just coming across the line, and they'll just have enough time to get this last lap in. So we're going to ride on board with Diego Varel here now. Oh, a huge wiggle. I reckon that will compromise most of that lap there. I reckon he's probably lost a couple of tenths. And he's got the slipstream though, so I feel like he could get this back. And we've got some great shots here. It's good. It's refreshing to see another game. Like, obviously, I'm an iRacing nerd, and yeah, it's very refreshing to see something different. It's good to see.
Yep, and graphically as well, it's as good as iRacing as well. So that's nice to see. As we saw Villarreal, trying to bank in another lap. He probably can sneak in one more as he crossed the line, as opposed to Lois Regier, who's on his definite final lap, because there's no way he could cross the line in time to start another one. Luke Mora's back into the pit, so he's called time on his qualifying. Up to Sterling's Hawthorns he goes. Through Westfield, a bit of a cut there, not too much because it might send the car spinning. Luckily he kept it all together. By the looks of the sector times, it might just be pretty nip and tuck. He is 3/10 slow in the first sector, a 10th slow in the second. Let's see what kind of magic he can pull off in the final sector. Out of Sterling's he goes onto clearways. Let's see then, onto the final corner, Connor. What's it going to be?
Yeah, it's going to be close here. Let's see what he can put down. Does he go faster? 2/10 faster than everyone else at the moment. Does he improve? Yes, he does. 4/10 clear now of P2. Lois is on shot. Good job. That was a great lap.
Yeah, nice one there from Regier. And we saw that the first 2 sectors weren't the strongest, but he manages to piece it all together through the final one, Connor. And that sets him on pole position for the race. As you can see, there's the leaderboard here. Regier on pole in front of his fellow countryman Noigier in second, with Lozano about a second behind here in the first of the Ferraris. Barrios, Santiago Barrios, I'm not sure what's his nationality. Could be Brazilian or could be Argentine. Apologies for that one. Godoy in 5th, McCullough 6th, Villarreal 7th, Leo Mora, who quit the qualifying session early, is 8th, and the only pole in the grid is 9th, Mikhail Makowski. So that's your top 9 on the leaderboard, and we get ready to go racing here around Brands Hatch. So then, the wind flies around Brands Hatch here. The flags are getting the normal treatment that they normally get in the UK, but luckily for us, clear blue skies as opposed to being dreary and wet as the Brits have been known to have on in terms of their weather. But what are your thoughts here? You reckon that it's going to be a McLaren lockout, or maybe one of the Ferraris can challenge here, Connor?
Let's hope that Ferrari can get up the front. We saw the qualifying, he was in the mix there, so I mean, anything could happen. The McLaren might be a bit slower through the race and the Ferrari might come through. Obviously, the Ferrari having some really good top speed, so maybe he might be fast down the back straight there and get someone down at the last corner. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see this Ferrari have a bit of a competition and with the McLarens. Should be good.
Indeed, and now we're getting ready for the race. We're grading up here, as just like what we say in iRacing, they're all grading up, getting ready for the two-file start here, as just like how they do in America, and to certain other series where they do rolling starts. Here we go then. Noishier was a bit slow there, but he gets it going at last. All 9 drivers are in now in this race. We're getting ready, coming through clearways, through Jim Clark curve, onto the start finish straight, ready to wait for the green flag to fly. Regier and Noisier up in front. Lozano, we're looking right now beside Santiago Barrios for Rebellion Autosports in P4. The grid slowing to a crawl here because they have to abide by the speed limit, about 70 kilometers per hour, waiting for the green flag to fly. There's the marshal's hand, and when we see it, we're going to go out racing here in Brands Hatch. We're underway. There's the flag flying, and Regier gets in front of Noisier into turn number 1, with Lozano following hard pursuit in 3rd place. Barrios slots in 4th. He tried to look on the inside, coming out to Graham Hill Bend, but it looks to Paddock Hill Bend. So it looks as though he didn't get it through that time. Brad McCullough, we're watching right now, working on the back of Nico Godoy, Villarreal, Mora, and Markowski running off the rear. But it looks as though it is a really good start up in front for Lois Regier, Connor.
Yeah, that was a good start there. We're just on board with Varel now. It was a clean racing there so far, so no massive bits of contact yet. Oh, just seeing Markowski just parking on the apex there. I thought there would be a bit of contact there with Varel. Yeah, I thought there might have been a little bit of contact, but nothing so far. But going back up to the front now in second place right now. Fabian just following Leo at the moment. And see where this ends up at the moment, and I thought that was Gayoso there for a second. I'm recognising all the iRacing names, but oh, spin in the back there. Tyler
and
is
yeah, by the looks of it, he might have had a bit of contact there from either Leo Mora or he was helped around by Diego Villarreal. But whatever it is, that split the field from P4 to P5, and the other group that have been formed back there. Santiago Barrios, the Argentine, being pressured here by Nico Godoy, and Godoy goes off his fellow Argentine into the gravel trap at Paddock Hill Bend. Luckily, he gathers it back up without too much trouble, but he's lost a bit of momentum and a gap to Barrios. Lozano then 7/10 behind Noisier, 2.1 seconds ahead of Barrios, so that little battle has cost him a bit of time. But looks as though Godoy is happy to just walk away with that one.
Yeah, I think he'd be pretty happy with that. Just walking away from that, I wouldn't say he's upset with it at all. Riding on board with P3, we're actually talking about this before with the Ferrari, see if this is a good race car or not. And it looks like he's hanging on to the back of the 2 McLarens at the moment, but he needs to be in that slipstream, or these 2 will just pull away completely. But we do have 40 minutes worth of racing and a mandatory pit stop, and it'll be interesting to see where all these guys pit. I reckon they'd be halfway, and I reckon there might be some guys going in early. Here's some replay of Tyler, the fellow American. So let's have a look at this replay in the bottom right. There was a flash of the headlights, and oh, there's contact there with the McLaren. Oh, both the McLarens, actually. So no, that was Tyler up the inside in that black McLaren, and it looks like he just didn't work out there, using one of the drivers as a bit of a braking marker almost there.
Yeah, tried to sneak one coming through Sheen Curve, which is normally not an overtaking spot anyway, trying to overtake Leo Mora, but Mora was firmly closing the door. He had every right to go there because he still had the line on the line coming through when McCullough is going on the inside, and that has dumped McCullough out of the possible top 5 that he was fighting at the start of the race. Here's the little train at the back though. This is Markowski, who's really not enjoying the driving right now in that Ferrari. behind Villarreal and Mora. Mora seems to be a bit of a pocket baller at the moment. We're on board with Villarreal now. Let's see what he can do here. Equal cars, of course, so it's just up to the driver to make the difference. And by the looks of it, Mikowski is falling slightly behind. Villarreal did get the best of Andy's exit coming out of Surtees onto Pilgrim's Drop, and Mora is gonna live for another day. Villarreal though now has to watch his mirrors, Connor.
Yeah, definitely. As to we saw Mikowski have some really good pace in the qualifying, but it looked like in the start of the race he just was struggling there on that lap 1. So I wonder if there's a bit of an issue with the game or the simulator.
Yeah, maybe he's not familiar with the game itself, because by looks of it, he's still trying to find his feet, getting around driving these rather persnickety GT3 cars where they have a bit of a performance gap, where you really have to be in that window, otherwise you're not going to get through. As now, Villarreal is the first. Yeah, he's the first to actually pull the trigger here and get the mandatory pit stops out of the way. Now, is it going to be a full service of tires, or did he? Is he gonna just do a splash and dash, get a bit of tire, get a bit of fuel, go back out without being in the pits for too long? And it looks as though it is a full service here, Connor, and he missed his box. He's actually reversing.
Yeah, it was. It's a bit early for a pit stop. 5 minutes in, no slipstream. So hopefully he might just. Maybe he's just thinking, I'll just get some clean air and deal with everything a bit later. Running aboard with our Ferrari driver with the blue background. You can see that he's put a bit of an edit on the camera there. Goats Esports, by the way. I just want to mention that. What a name for an esports team. That's amazing.
Yeah, but he didn't put any sort of like colors to a goat, i.e. all white or brown on the car. But Lozano then, I can safely say he is the fastest guy in iRacing in a race trade, because he's had quite a few fast laps to his name. As Villarreal now is coming out of the pits. That's a very long stop, so he actually went for a full service here, Connor, and coming out of the pits, he is actually now a lap behind Lois Regier, with Noigier and Lozano quickly approaching him here as we come up to Druids.
Yeah, that was a massive pit stop there. I wonder if that's the right pit stop there. We saw him screen there, Mikowski right behind and running on board with Leo at the moment. Oh, hard on the brakes with Mikowski there, trying to get a dive. Didn't really work out there, so he had to go wide. And he's going to have to follow in behind Leo. Covering again. It looks like Leo's really covering there. And he's looking in that mirror. We just saw his head move to the left. And we're going to go back for another lap. But with Villa there, that was a really weird pit stop, because I've done a little bit of testing on ACC, and it just seems like that was way too long for a pit stop. So if you can confirm that or not, it'll be quite interesting there.
Yes, I can confirm for you that he went through an entire full service. He had fuel and tires, did the works, just to get back onto the track, which in actuality you don't really need to do that, because the tires can survive a full stint of an hour or so. You can just add 1 liter of fuel and go out immediately. So he lost out big time there, and as a result, he's now a lap behind Lois Regier. But let's see what the other drivers are thinking. As Mikhail Mikowski still not feeling that comfortable, but looks as though he's gotten a bit of pace here. He's right at the back of Leo Mora. We thought he was going to make an overtaking maneuver, but looks as though he's lost a bit of time to Mora, and he's going to have to wait for another lap here just to get back up to the rear of that McLaren.
Yeah, I think it's going to be patience in this situation. I think the dive bomb needs to be set up, but the Polish have been pretty aggressive. We see a lot of drivers in the iRacing community, and I've noticed they don't have many patience at all. So that's what I've learned about the Polish. So we'll see what happens here. But up front, though, a bit of a battle up front, though, with everyone getting a bit close now.
Yeah. Just about 2 seconds, in total, almost 6 seconds between the top three. This is the closest battle we have out on track right now, with Mikowski and Mora just watching arrears. McCullough, though, after that spin while trying to overtake Mora, he's just only 2.4 seconds behind, so at least he's going to take it. But no, Mikowski makes a mistake, goes through, with Mora making a slight mistake there, so he's been looking in his mirrors one time too many, loses it, coming through Hawthorns, and now he's the one who's doing the chasing as opposed to being the chasee.
Yeah, that's what he wanted to do. He wanted the mistake and he got it. So maybe he prayed to the right gods, racing gods, and he's got through. So now it's going to be on the other foot now. He's going to have to defend, look in that mirror and not really be focusing on in the mirror too much. But he's going to be driving on the exit and doing well here. And we're riding on Tyler here with McCullen having that spin at the start. So let's see what he can recover here with this drive now. He looks like he's got a lot of pace, bringing a lot of speed into the entry. Let's see what the exit's like. Down to turn 2. Does he make the dive on the outside? Yes, he does. Does he get 2? No, he doesn't. Mikowski on the outside, and Mikowski's actually going to get overtaken by the McLaren, and he's off the road. The Ferrari trying to get some grip on the grass, but Mikowski has half survived that with Sereno's, sorry, I can't really see that name. My apologies. Tyler coming through now, and Tyler's gotten away with it too. So McCullen just doing really well there as well.
Yeah, McCullen goes on the inside, which becomes the outside now through Pilgrim's Drop up to Hawthorne's, and he makes it. Wow, that's really a lot of time and momentum lost there from Mikowski. He did probably open the door a bit too much coming up to Druids, let Mora through, and that stalled his momentum all the way throughout that entire sector. McCullen's also there to pick up the pieces. 2 positions lost in one fell swoop for Marcus Mikowski. And Mikhail Mikowski now, it's all up to him to get it back up here. He's still about 0.4 of a second behind McCullough, but McCullough has the momentum. A bit of a touch there between Mora and McCullough. This is the second time they've had collision in this race, and there goes Mora into the gravel trap, and McCullough gets 2 free positions in 1 lap. What a way to do so.
I was going to say, with all this happening, guess who's gaining? Villa. If this pit stop works out, if this is what it is intentional for Villa, he's making a lot of ground at the moment, because these guys have probably lost 5 to 6 seconds battling, making mistakes, and a bit of contact. So if Villa's done this right, Villarreal, hey, maybe he's back in the mix.
I don't think so, because he's about a lap behind anyway, so he's not even in contention at this point. So early stop, and unfortunately went through an entire pit stop cycle of fuel and tires when he could have actually just added 1 liter of fuel. He's somewhat paying the price for it. He will have a much fresher car compared to these guys, but in terms of the overall race, yeah, he's well and truly chucked out of the way, unless something dramatic happens to all 8 drivers in front of him. But again, that's waiting to be seen, as Mikowski looks as though, look at the face, Mora that went off to the grass. We saw dust being kicked up as well, but looks a bit, Tyler McCullough actually went through that corner through Westfield, nearly losing it, but luckily kept it together. And in fact, speaking of losing it, there's Villarreal now. Oh, that's another lap for him gone. When I show what happened there, he might have actually tripped it coming out of the Sterlings, and well, we were just picking him up a bit, and unfortunately he kind of flubbed the script all the way into camera there, Connor.
Yeah, I didn't actually see he was 2 laps down there. So, Tyler McCullen having a huge mistake there with the Ferrari up the inside. It's going to make a huge dive. Down to turn 2. There's contact 2 around. Oh, yep, huge contact. Tyler having a huge expression on the face going, no, that wasn't right. Tyler getting through. Leo coming through as well, and it just looks like they keep swapping with these guys, and these guys are just will go down with the fight, that's for sure.
Yeah, all 3 are really fighting for it, and Mora, Mikowski, and McCullough just trading positions. Mora was the one that was in front of these guys at one point. Now he's back in between both of them. Mikowski is the biggest loser out of that one, losing 2 positions yet again. But it looks as though, by the way he's driving, he might just regain those 2 positions if he is gutsy enough. There's a replay. What happened to Diego Villarreal coming out of Sheen corner into Sterling Bend, as there goes Mikowski off into the gravel to finish the job for him this time around. As you can see, a bit of a slight mistake for Villarreal, touches the curb coming out of Sterling's and into the barrier on the inside. So it's unfortunate for him that his strategy didn't really pan out as he would like, as Mikowski as well made a slight error in judgment trying to catch up. He will try to go to the pits now. In fact, he's going to carry on here. What was a 0.4 of a second gap might just increase to 3 seconds, as we are now going to say a bit of a hello to the guys in the chat. Fabio Zambolini, as usual, he also drives. Let's see if he's going to make an appearance in the GTPs after this. Exhaust Sniffer listening, or listening, maybe. El Citus and Just Keep, who's our regular contributor here in the comment section. Hello to have you guys on board here. As Poland, question mark, yes, that was for Mikhail Makowski. Pretty much continuing the racing heritage that Robert Kubica had in Formula 1, as well as carrying the torch for certain drivers like Alan Kulwicki, the late Alan Kulwicki if he was racing in NASCAR. But so far at least, the battle between those three cars have rescinded. Now we're looking at the two Argentines. Godoy has actually gotten in front of Barrios' corner, and looks as though Barrios is giving up a fight.
Yeah, it looks like all of them are not giving up with a fight and running aboard here now with Nico here, Godoy. And Godoy with a good-looking paint here, a good sleek-looking black paint. And it looks like he's getting gained on the car behind. Car 76 at the moment. And he's going to be just see if he can find any time in this car, Nico Godoy. And running on board here with Barrios here. And he's got a good drive out of that exit at turn 2, and we're going to follow him on board now, but looks like he's got some good drive out of this corner.
Yep, and coming out of Graham Hill Bend, looks as though he might have actually had a good run at one point. If he gets it right coming out of Sterling's, he will have a bit of a chance here, and he does, because Godoy made a mistake on the exit. Now Barrios is in the slipstream, but being both equal cars, once they reach that top peak speed, this might be the same. So next thing out of that one, Godoy survives for another time, but Barrios looks as though he's the one that is now having the momentum in his sails. But still no victory just yet, because in Brands Hatch there's only one viable overtaking spot, and that is coming up to Drew as the hairpin right after Grey Hill Bend. And you really want to send it on the inside at Paddock Hill Bend, you can try your luck, but it's not for certain if you can get it stick. And for this particular instance, it looks like Barrios might just want to try that, but lost a bit of time here, Connor, and he's now well and truly out of the picture for the time being.
Yeah, Barrios here, just, he's not too far. He's got a bit of slipstream, nothing major though, but yeah, he needs to find a little bit of pace. Meanwhile, Godoy going really wide there, so that's going to be gaining and gaining for Godoy's here. And, oh, look at the braking power he's got. And getting the, trying to find the apex there. Couldn't find it there, but he's going to be still trying to find as much as he can. And it looks like he's getting major understeer with the car at the moment. Can't really find the grip in those front tyres, using a lot of those front tyres apparently. So the pit stops might be coming around to cool off those tyres in the pit stop.
So that might not be an ideal thing to do, especially given the fact that this is a sprint race. The tyres can easily last the 40 minutes that we have here, but if he's worn out his tyres quickly, or he's got the wrong set from qualifying, i.e. a bit scuffed, then Barrios is well and truly stuffed here. But for the time being, maybe he's just backing off a bit so that he doesn't get too close to Godoy too soon. Maybe he could think of an undercut by coming into the pits early and try to catch Godoy out, with Godoy coming in afterwards. But again, tyres, the tyre life is important here. If he could conserve it for the time being, he might be in with a shout towards the end. So, 1 second in it between the two Argentines, Godoy being in front of Barrios. Back to the battle, the never-ending battle between Makowski and Mora. He's up to the back of the Brazilian now, again. But Makowski, though, still is not able to get by, Connor.
Yeah, it looks like he's having some trouble there. Oh, off in the weeds there, into the kitty litter. And, it just looked like you got a heap of understeer there and went off to the road. Not enough braking power in that Ferrari at the moment, but it looks like that Ferrari's having a little bit of trouble with the track at the moment.
Oh, the driver himself having a little bit of an issue trying to get on top of the car for the time being, because even in qualifying, he looked like he wasn't really comfortable. He's really just trying to hustle that car around, getting momentum out of it. There's Makowski back on our screens again. But having said that, despite going off once again, he manages to actually get back up to the back of Mora once again. So really then, it's ebbing and flowing between the two drivers, equally matched in equally matched cars might be at as well. Front mid-engine rear-wheel drive, so the cars are just about the same in terms of performance, but it looks as though it's the drivers that are going to really make the difference, and for the time being, it's also just equally matched in that department, Connor.
Yeah, 100%. It looks like that's the case at the moment. He's actually not lost that much time, so he's still got a chance in here for the P7. And Leo would be looking in those rear mirrors every second. And let's see if there's much of a gain through the back of the section. It does look like they're with a little bit of lag through there as well. So we're going to keep that in mind. There might be a little bit of net code when he gets up to him, though. So Leo might be trying to be aware of that. And we can see here with the leader just getting a 7-second gap there, almost an 8-second gap. So he's doing amazing there on lap 13 now. And back to this battle as well.
Yep. Another battle that has been going on for the last couple of laps. Santiago Barrios behind Nico Godoy. And once again, Godoy is not able to pull away from Barrios. Still in it about 0.5 of a second as we come through the second sector timing beam. Coming up off Surtees Bend onto Pilgrim's Drop. And the exit that time round for Godoy is enough to just fend off Barrios for the time being, but looks as though it's just a similar case between, it's just like the case of Mora and Murkowski. It's just ebbing and flowing. The drivers are just making the difference here. Some sectors they're faster and some sectors the other ones are faster, but Godoy makes a mistake, spins it, coming out of Sheen curve. 720 even. I thought it was going to be a 360 no scope, but he's 720. Faces the wrong way, and he might just get it in time to stay in front. No, he actually spins it a third time around, and McCullough might easily get a half chance here. He has to find reverse. He does find reverse, but it looks as though McCullough might just come through. There's McCullough coming through. Godoy drops out of a top 5 finishing position. Now he has to recover to get back up to P5 even, with McCullough right in front of him. Oh, wow. It was an unforced error. We didn't see Barrios even being remotely close to overtaking, but he just loses it around and takes the opportunity to just repair the damage and get a fresh set of tires on the car.
Yeah, getting that mandatory pit stop out of the way. And here we go in the pit lane now with the helicopter cam. And let's see this pit stop. So he pulls up to the box, nice and straight, and he's going to park on the marks in about a second. And we can see another car in the pits as well. So that might be... There we go, not Tim, Tyler. I'm thinking the other American. So Tyler's pulled in the box now. He's going to wait until he gets his pit stop done. And look at that. He's actually jumped him in the pits. Godoy just having a great pit stop there, knowing what to change. And Tyler McCoy just trying to figure out what he was trying to do there. So I think he might have taken either a little bit of fuel or a fast repair even. So, yeah, McCoy doing really well there.
I think it might have been a couple of factors there. Tires is not one of them. There was fuel, a bit too much fuel maybe, and repair some of the damage that he had from earlier skirmishes. So that's why he got it there. While Godoy, maybe he just took 1 liter of fuel and got
the spin on spawning in.
Yeah.
There's the spin on in the replay there, Godoy.
Then
Godoy having a bit of an issue there.
Afterwards. Yeah.
Here's another pit stop.
Oh, that was unfortunate. Yeah, Barrios, the guy that Godoy was having right behind him just now. And it looks as though Barrios has actually got to the car up at the jacks. A bit of fuel, 1 liter of it, and he is out of there. So he manages to fend off any driver attacking from behind. Murkowski is coming through. Mora's into the pits, and that's a very slow entry as well, because he looks like he came almost to a dead stop as the limiters were on. But let's see then. A few drivers have gotten their entry pit stops out of the way. 4, in fact, have gotten the green indicators you can see on the left-hand side of the screen. 1 with the orange means that no pit stops have been done yet, including Mora's, but it might be just done very soon. And by looks of it, he's not happy with that pit stop, because it looks as though he might have actually ticked on a couple of options that he may have not wanted, and it's costing him time on track, Connor.
Yeah, definitely will. We've seen a lot of people have been losing time on the track, and Tyler's actually just up in front now. I think he's actually... Was it Godoy that jumped in? I think Godoy jumped in, but I think Tyler just got it back again.
Yep. Yep, out of our sight as well, in fact. So, yeah, he's gotten ahead there. So that's pretty much McCullough getting back into position before the pit stops. Godoy, though, he's on a recovery drive here, Colin.
Yeah, it does look like that. It was a very unfortunate unfortunately, just took a little bit too much grass, pushing the car a little bit too much, and Godoy's trying to do the recovery drive at the moment, but Tyler's going to capitalise on that, and going a little bit wide. I think I think everyone's actually going to be a bit aware with that grass now, saying Godoy off the road. They probably don't know where he spun, but they know it's either a bit slippery or there's not enough grip. And talking about that, there's someone in the background off the road.
Yeah, it might be one of the guys that did not pit yet. I'm not sure which McLaren was that, because it is another white McLaren over there. It might have been Villarreal with this light blue ting on it, but no, in fact, we can't get confirmation on who is that right now. It's Mika Makowski as it comes to the pits, and he's still in there. In fact, he might have actually rolled it a bit too far forwards, and he had to reverse it into his pit box. He gets a sip of Monster Energy, and once again, another driver that actually has taken a few options too many, and it's resulted in a prolonged pit stop.
Yeah, it does look like that. Like a lot of people have been struggling with these pit stop. Godoy getting a good exit there on Tyler McCoy there. McCullen, sorry. So Godoy having some really good pace there, and look who's behind him. We talked about this pit stop before, and Makowski's actually right behind him now.
Yep. No, in fact, Makowski just actually exited the pit, so that might be Leo Mora right behind. We still haven't had confirmation on who was the driver that spun just now, but there's Mora exiting the pits. Is that Mora Makowski? No, it is Makowski. You're right there, Connor. But it's quite confusing because they still have the same color of cars. As the camera now jumps around trying to find who's who here. As McCullough goes off! McCullough has spun into the barriers, has done the exact same accident as Nico Godoy, and the car is well and truly scuffed.
Yeah, he would not be too happy at the moment. He's just taken his mandatory pit stop, and now he's got damage. 14 minutes to go, and we're slowly ticking down to the end of the race. So everyone's taking their pit stops besides the top three. So everyone's going to be pushing as hard as possible now. Only 14 minutes to go. Counting down.
Yes, driver, it is Diego Villarreal. So I did see a blue ting on the car. So that was the SART driver of Diego Villarreal, and he's really not lucky in that final sector at all. That's he had a crash coming out of Sterling's, then now it's a spin coming through Sheen Curve, as we can see Nico Godoy leaving a bit of room for Nogier to come through. Fabien Nogier in second place, 14 seconds behind Lois Regier. He really is steaming on forward there, as is Regier. As coming into the pits is Tyler McCullough with that absolutely wrecked front end of the McLaren, really showing the brute force of that impact. It looked quite light, but it was enough to just get the bonnet up on it.
Yeah, taking another pit stop's never good, but Fabian on board right now, 13 seconds behind our leader at the moment. So that was actually not a, I thought it did see a blue flag, but couldn't confirm. So Fabian right now just carving his way through the field, and should be taking his pit stop in a couple of minutes, because I'd say maybe we'll go under that 10-minute marker actually, but let's we'll see what happens with that, with the strategy. Maybe with the fuel coming out, it makes the car lighter, so maybe they're going faster. So Fabian looking at deltas and everything else. We're going to do the teammates, we can see there, a bit of chatter on the radio, and Fabian going to start his lap again.
And off camera, we were talking about those headphones that you want to put into your ear there. Nogier actually has what you needed just now. Headphones that really doesn't wrap around your ear cups, as McCullough, there's his replay of his accident earlier, and wow, that was an almighty impact to hit the barrier coming out of Sheen Curve. There's no wonder that he went through for a pit stop and lost out on a potential top 5 here after Godoy had his own little troubles earlier. There's Nogier. He is actually closed in previously on the Regier. He was about 6/10 faster according to our timing screen, but by the looks of it, it's not enough to overhaul Regier just about. Yeah, Regier is not on our screens at this point because he's been leading away metronomically. Not much to trouble him. Nogier had to go through the Godoy just now, the only back marker that he has seen so far. But I think this race has actually settled into a bit of a lull period where the drivers are now going to be thinking about their pit stops, especially the top three who have not pitted yet, Connor.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about where you want to pit, especially normally in iRacing, you need to have that window. And if you can get that window, if you can pit right where you want to and you're going to gain the most time, that's where you want to be. And I reckon that's what the guys are going to do. And P3's going to go through the pits with the Ferrari on the pit limit. He's going to go straight through the pits. And let's see how fast this pit stop. We've seen Goats do okay at the moment, so we've seen a lot of people have some slow stops, so I wonder actually what the most optimal pit stop we're going to see here tonight. I'd say the top three definitely know what they're doing, so let's see how fast this pit stop is.
Yep, stops on his marks and he gets it just in the nick of time, and by the looks of it, it is going to be a slightly long service. He turns on the engine. No, in fact, that is the right way to do it. He just entered the pit stop and goes. By the looks of it, he just took a bit of fuel, maybe ultimately 1 liter of fuel, and he goes out. Watch the line on the outside, and he is clear. So he was about 7 seconds behind Fabien Ogier as he came to the pits. So Lozano then comes back out here. We're waiting for him to cross the first timing beam. After this, Ogier just crossed that in that particular instance. Still about 14 seconds behind, so he lost a bit of time to Lois Ratier, who's now finally back on our screens after being incognito for a while in the jet black livery or SDL Esports. There he is coming through. I think he is running a custom livery. It's just that we are not seeing it on at the moment. But whatever it is, the Frenchman up in front, nothing's troubling him apart from Nico Godoy for a second. He carves through him easily and puts him 3 laps behind. Just probably going to pit in the final few minutes, Connor.
Yeah, Godoy getting out of the way there. Now Leader absolutely storming through. And you were saying about the paint. I'd say it's probably something Logitech because he's got Logitech G down in the bottom right. So I'd probably say there's a big logo of Logitech down the side of that car. So Loy's just doing well here with a good gap, and he just needs to figure out where he's going to pit now. Running on board with Tyler now, and we're going to see what he's been up to. And he's had a bit of a rough night, so I would say he's looking forward to maybe the next race in AMX, in the AMX 10 race. Keep that in mind, guys. Next race will be coming up after this race. 9 minutes to go for this race, and we'll take a break after. So hold on to your seats for that one. GTPs at Daytona, so it should be a good race after this one.
Yeah, especially given the fact that we had Daytona 24 earlier, and of course Bathurst as well at one point, where you were racing here last week, racing there last week. It was an absolute cracker of a race towards the end. And you were interviewed that time as well, weren't you?
Yeah, I was interviewed. Normally I'm interviewing other people, but yeah, I was interviewed by one of the commentators. Well, there was 3 commentators that night, so I got a few questions, and yeah, it was an awesome experience, and I'd recommend anyone to do it. You know, I'm not being biased at all. It was good fun. I was actually out of breath after the race because went from 4th to 2nd in about 1 corner. So yeah, I'd recommend go to AMX.com and check us all out, and check out our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and our TikTok as well, and streaming on every other platform as well. So check us out. Oh,
hashtag plug. That was a good plug there. Oh, yeah, I'd say good plug there as Tyler McCullough. Sorry, I said Connor first. It was a Freudian slip. Tyler McCullough nearly getting it all crossed up coming out of Graham Hill Bend. Luckily, he kept it together. He wouldn't want another impact there, Connor.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Tyler's had a bit of a rough night, but I'm sure he'll get through this race, and yeah, I think he'll come back next week and see what he can do. I mean, we've seen this guy a lot, doing okay now after a big long pit stop, and let's see. Oh, look at the wheel work he's got down to the turn 1. Oh, huge understeer there with the Ferrari. I'd say this Ferrari's had a bit of trouble with that understeer tonight. Seen 2 of those cars.
Yeah, probably hasn't had the right settings for this track and in this car. He's sometimes hot, sometimes cold, I would say, because it looks as though he didn't get a handle of the car for tonight, but maybe with a few more races under his belt, he'll definitely be challenging up there. He'll definitely be happy with P7 tonight, despite 100%. The earlier setbacks, as Diego Villarreal is now confirmed to be out of the race. So guess 1 contact too many.
That's
watch pit stop, and yeah, and looks like he decides to say, yep, I'm pulling out. Thanks for the race, guys. Probably we'll get to see him next time out.
Yeah, Diego had a really good race the other night in the 87, so he actually got a win. So, you know, he's had some pretty good nights recently, so a bit unfortunate he's had a bad race, but I guess in racing you have some good days and some bad days, and I think that's just not one of those good days. So he's going to leave the server and say hello to us next week, actually. So we'll see him then, unless he's racing on Tuesday. So riding aboard here, and actually took a hot lap there. That was actually kind of nice. You could see the 4Ks long track there. 4Ks doesn't seem long on a race car anymore. I remember back in the day, 4Ks was long, but it's like 5-6Ks that are long in these GT3s, but they're super fast around these type of tracks. Going off the turn one as well, holding on there in the dirt.
Yeah, luckily he just rally crossed his way out of there, coming out of Paddock Hill Bend. This is Graham Hill Bend right now. The thing is, again, it just shows that he was really struggling a bit to get on top of this car. But luckily, nothing too major for him. In fact, he's stayed away out of trouble for the most part. Just a slightly botched pit stop sends him 5 seconds behind Leo Mora with Nico Couto right in front. And if the both of them were to be battling together, we might just have a grandstand finish for P5. As meanwhile, we go back to Fabien Nogier, who is still about roughly 14 to 15 seconds behind Lois Regier. Is really the class of the entire field here today. Really nothing has stopped him. Yeah, so Regier, and both of them haven't done the Mandarin pit stops just yet, so Regier has found something still left in the tank to keep on going.
Yeah, I was going to say before, Nogier, you know, I was talking about those windows of pit stops. Maybe it's he's just thought, well, I'll just drain all the fuel out of the car, see how fast the car gets, and then we'll do a cheeky little pit stop. So Nogier doing well though, riding on board here. I think these two are actually teammates. Looking at the bottom right of the what teams are at. So still running on board, and car coming up. This is a little bit lap traffic, and I would actually say that's probably car. I'd probably say that's 227, Tyler.
Yeah, that is Tyler. Yeah, that is Tyler McCullers. So McCullers, crazy race is just going to get. Yeah, going to get a little bit sad. Yeah, I was about to say a bit sad because he was probably going to be left. But Fabien Nogier does come into the pits and is the second to last driver to make his mandatory pit stops. Lois Regier is going on for that lap. Maybe he will get the information from his in-game crew chief, or even talking to Nogier that he needs to come in very soon. Otherwise, he might just incur a post-race penalty. There's Nogier coming in, topping out a bit of fuel and probably going out now, Connor.
Yeah, look at that. Easy pit stop, and Nogier doing a good job there. And let's see how far, I was going to say the guy behind him in P3, I don't think he'd be that far off, but we'll see on the timing boards when it all corrects itself. And Nogier doing a good pit stop there, so talking to these guys on Discord there, you could see them chatting away. And Lou's still out on the track, so probably see the pit stop in the next, I'd say, 2 minutes.
Yeah, he has to, otherwise he will definitely get a post-race penalty because it is a one-man pit stop here. He's the only driver who has that orange indicator on him, and he's going around yet for another lap. Yeah, granted, it is a short lap around Brands Hatch, all things considered, with a 1 minute 23 second average lap around here. So he clocks in at 25.4 that time around, so almost, in fact, just over 2 seconds behind his best lap. So maybe he's just taking it easy here, knowing that the win is more or less unassailable for him right now. It will take something monumental to happen in the final laps here for any of the other guys behind him to have half a chance. But Regier then circling Brands Hatch once again. Oh, big slide. Nearly.
You almost jinxed him there.
Go completely. Yeah, stranger things happen. And some people do say that I do have a bit of a competitive jinx, so hope knock on plenty of wood that it doesn't happen to Regier here. Big slide as Nogier now crosses the line. He only has 9 seconds to the good with Lozano behind him, so it's close between second and third relatively. But first right now we're looking at him. He'll have to come in next time, otherwise he'll be penalized afterwards.
Yeah, I think you were saying before, you know, something massive will have to happen to the leader, and yeah, from these couple of slides, you kind of imagine, like, if he does push the car a little bit too much, it can pretty much end up in smoke. But will the pit stop be this time around? I think it will be. Yes, indeed it will be. Yep. Here comes the pit stop from Loy. And nice little pit entry there. I'm kind of curious about Brands Hatch. They put like that chicane there where they could almost straight line it instead of having this huge chicane there. But anyway, I'm not the man that had the money to build this track, so here's the pit stop from Loy.
Yep. Regier comes to pits, stops on his marks. He didn't have to back it up at all. We're looking at Fabien Nogier in the inset, and it looks as though it is a very quick one, and he's out of there faster than Nogier can actually come through the final sector. So Lois Regier has come up back onto the track with a sizable advantage in front of his teammate of more than about 20 seconds, I think, by the time that Nogier comes across the line. So let's see then, as he starts now the second to last lap. After this will be the final lap, of course, as the timer hits 0. Across the line comes Nogier, 23 seconds, almost half a minute. That's how fast his in-lap was. It's impressive that despite the tires wearing out and the fuel going lower, the car actually is still fast for Regier.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that. I did notice the lap times were doing there pretty well, and I was going to say P3 is actually catching Nogier there. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, we've only got a little bit of time, but we saw that with the margins there, it was about, I think it was about 9.5 seconds down to 8.5. So there was, if there was more time, I can imagine there would have been a good battle there. But look at this, our leader just driving away. He's got about 19 seconds on him, and I think this is pretty much an easy win in the bag. And I reckon Lloyd will come home with the win, and I reckon he'll be pretty proud of himself, to be honest.
Yeah, he'll be dead chuffed by it because it is such a comprehensive win. Though the gap has shortened slightly to about 19 seconds to Nogier, but I didn't think he'll mind that one bit, because as he comes across the line, 14 seconds left on the clock, and there the radio announcer actually announces it to Regier and to us on screen that this is the final lap of the race, Connor. Just another 4.3 kilometers here to negotiate, and looks as though it might be just the easiest 4.3 kilometers that he'll have to ever do around the circuit.
Yeah, I was going to say 4Ks would probably seem a little long. You kind of, I've noticed in my races when you're out in front, those last 4Ks, you kind of take it in. You don't really push the car too much. You kind of take it all in and go, oh, this is the last corner I'm going to do for this race. You know, get the braking marker right, get the trail brake right, because obviously you want to trail the car in, get the apexes, as we all know. So yeah, I think he'll be enjoying this last lap, and he's got some lap traffic in front of him, which is Ty McCullen in front of him in the 227, which has been a bit of an unfortunate race for him. So coming around the last couple of corners, and this will be a pretty good way to end up AMX 1, and we'll be going into AMX 10 after this race. Second last corner, and he's coming onto the back straight now, and Lloyd is going to take the win.
In fact,
around the last corner, there we go.
Yep, it automatically goes into the end of the race, but you can see the checkered flag waving as McCullough tries to swipe across the line there. He still has to complete another lap here because the race is not over yet for him, but Regier comes across the line, waiting for Nogier to come by here as well, about 19 to 20 seconds behind. Lozano, no doubt, will be third. He gave it his all to chase, but it looks as though the two Frenchmen up in front were just way too fast. And that is it for AMX1 here at Brands Hatch. We were touting it to be a quite exciting race. It had its moments where some battles were close, but unfortunately, incidents just took away the sting of what could have been some really fantastic racing. But in the end, it was way too much for certain drivers to handle, the guys in front, and Lois Regier takes a commanding win in front of his teammates. There's the result there on screen. Lois Regier. Yep. Oh, I actually got the screenshot just in time to talk about the results. But yeah, we just run through you again. It's Regier from Nogier and Lozano. That's your top three, with Barrios in 4th place and Godot in 5th. So Frenchman, Mexican, and 2 Argentines round out your top 5. Connor, what's your big takeaway from that particular race?
Oh, I think I need to start doing some ACC on the side. But yeah, great race there. It was good to see some awesome racing. We, smaller grid, but yeah, it's good to see AMX one is starting to get bigger and bigger. I was talking to a lot of the commentators and I said, you actually get more money because there's a smaller field at the moment. You'll actually gain a little bit more money. And I was talking to my teammates about that. And yeah, he's like, oh, maybe I should sign up for AMX1. But yeah, go and check us out, guys. AMXrace.com. Sign up to AMX1 and give it a shot.
Yep, and it's quite nice to see as well that the racing, especially when it's really evenly matched among certain drivers, we get some really close nose-to-tail action. Maybe Brands Hatch didn't let himself to some overtakes, but because you're following the leader, it's just a matter of not making a mistake and crashing into the barriers, as we saw a few drivers coming a Cropper there just now throughout the entire race. But then again, it can happen to the best of us, and certainly it happened to quite a few of them. Right now then, so with that out of the way, it looks as though we might just be able to get ourselves ready for the next one, and it's a real doozy, of course. You alluded to earlier that it is the GTP class with the Daytona International Speedway road course layout up for grabs here for drivers to actually take part. So that is it for AMX1. We were happy that the racing product out there was really good, especially when the battles were close, but it's going to get even better after this with AMX 10 coming up and the pros are coming through. So without further ado, we'll be taking a short break, but when we come back, it will be the big one at Daytona with GTPs. Don't go anywhere.
To save our home, we must travel through the gateway to find new energy.
Hello and welcome then to the World Center of Racing, as it is called, at Daytona International Speedway from Daytona Beach, Florida, for AMX 10, and in the GTs, or in this case, the GTP class, the brand new prototypes that we introduced from last year, now making a big splash internationally in the World Endurance Championship. We're here at Daytona International Speedway, and we are good to go for what promises to be a fantastic race. Hello then from Amir, myself, and alongside me is once again Connor, who's ready to join here for action-packed prototype racing. Connor, you were alluding to earlier that the cars around Daytona might be a good mix, and will you still stand by that? What you said?
Yeah, we're all good now. But yeah, 100%, they're probably one of the best cars that have been made. Recently they're just a bit slower than GTPs, but just a bit faster than LMP2s, and they've had some explosive racing recently. So it'll be good to see these guys get on track and some really big professionals tonight.
Absolutely, and I was looking at the model car in the background. On top of that, I thought for a second that might have been one of the GTPs, but it is actually a Ferrari. But regardless, despite these cars being slightly slower than the aforementioned DPIs that were the class before, then after that coming in with the GTP/LMDH, but we just call it for the sake of consistency GTPs, because that's basically what they are in the States when they race in IMSA and in Canada. But yeah, really excited to get going. Here's our socials below on Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, Discord, where you can actually chat with some of the drivers as well. YouTube, where we're live on right now, and you can still sign up via our website, amxrace.com, and of course find out about short form content on TikTok. But before we get into the action, let's go into a bit of housekeeping here to see what's what and where we are racing. So here's the overview. This is actually slightly different from just now where we were on ACC. Now we're on iRacing, so it's pretty much terra firma for a lot of people who has been watching AMX Global for the last few seasons. We run from the 27th of January all the way to April 21st, a $20,000 prize pool with next level racing gear up for grabs, racing on a variety of car and track combos, with a 20-minute qualifier, a bit of an increase from last season where we only had about 6 or 10 minutes of qualifying to get this done. Then we flip the script on its head, where the top 15 are reversed, where the guy in 15 will end up on pole, go through the race, and then we reverse that again from the top 15 to go into the second heat. So prizes and amounts for every standing, same for every session. So then that's what we will be looking at after this when we look at the overview of the prize pool. But second page of the overview, driver cams are required as per usual, just like in the AMX1 class where it's now mandatory for all. Balances of $100 we pay out for each month. Racing on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, where you can sign up anytime at amxrace.com. Moving on to now the schedule here, the what time we're racing at. And this instance, again, as I said in AMX1 and also previously in previous broadcasts, it's homogenized now with the scheduling running to GMT. We're racing on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays at 5:50 p.m. for AMX1 and 7:20 p.m. for AMX 10. So right now, this is where the time slots are at the very far right, in case anyone has missed the action here to come and join. Onto the prize pool, as aforementioned, it's $30 now for the, in fact, it's always been $30 for first if you qualify on pole. Then, when you reverse the script on its head, if you manage to finish first there as well, in the first heat, you get $30 for your travels and $4 extra for fastest lap, with a similar situation in heat number 2, where you need a minimum I rating of 2,000. So we really want the best drivers here on the iRacing platform to come through, and a total payout of $500 per race as a prize pool. Now then, on to the next part of the agenda. It's actually the run through the top 12 in AMX 10, and no surprises that up in front, it's Valero, with, despite winning one race, he's actually raced in 11 of these races in AMX 10. $474 or points that he has accrued over the past 11 races he's participated in. His main rival this season has been Aaron Vasquez, but Aaron has missed out on a few races, so that's why his points earning has been slightly lower than his. But make no mistake, the both of them are within a shout of the overall season title. And not far behind is Kieran Harrison, teammate as well to Corentin Guinness, who's riding in 5th place. In between both of them is Dino Filipa, the best of the Brazilians so far, with the second of the Brazilians, Jackson Resende, in P6. moving on to the rest of the field, we've got the likes of Gaston Coolhavi, Fabio Zampolini, who was in the comment section earlier, as he was with us at the start of the show. He's just slightly in front of Toby Soriano, who had a good race when I was watching, of course, when he was taking part in the TCRs at Jerez. Above Juan Blaniat, Peter Zuba, who is also in the comments. We'd love to see him race after this, and Simon De Mori running out your top 12. Now then, moving on to our next part of the agenda in the housekeeping, it is the promotions that we're going to have throughout the entire season. So then, first up is the D3 promotion on your left. Purchase an entry fee 3 days before the race and get up to 30% off. Pertains to all AMX Season 4 races throughout the entire season. But if you want the Season DC tickets, you'll have it available for purchase. These are available for each class, aka AMX 10 and 1, but each of the subclasses like the front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, GTs and all that, a total of 6 will be provided for up to 50% off of each of all races in each class when you purchase it. Now then, with the housekeeping out of the way and much smoother this time, we'll get to the track and car combo that we're going to be racing on here today, and let's have Connor take it away for this particular instance. Connor?
Thank you, mate. Let's get into this. So tonight we are racing, obviously, what we just mentioned before, Daytona. So Daytona is obviously in city, Daytona Beach, country, USA. Obviously a big country for obviously being with their motorsport, and it was built in 1959, which is a long time ago, but it still is one of the best motor races in the world. They just did the Daytona 24-hour, and it was very big in the sim racing world. Obviously, we saw Redline do very well around here, and that's one of the teams that we support in AMX, obviously being on their cars, and it's about 5.7 Ks long, so that's the length. And let's get into the cars. So we're at Daytona.
Yep, certainly, and fittingly we have the aforementioned LMDH or GTPs. We used to call it Daytona Prototype Internationals. Connor, run through what we have here today.
So the GTPs, or the LMDHs, or whatever you want to call them. So they're basically the lower class of the LMP1 we had a couple of years ago. They've been downgraded a little bit, but they're not really when you think about it. So they have 671 horsepower, about 100 more horsepower than a GT3 rear-wheel drive, and about 1,000 kilos. But these things have an electric hybrid system involved, and a lot of these cars have a big V8 like the Cadillac, and they can be swapped straight to electric. So they're very, very, very smart cars, and there's a lot of different manufacturers like the Acura, Porsche, BMW, and Cadillac in iRacing at the moment, and we've got a few other manufacturers coming through the ranks as well.
Certainly, and as we are now heading into qualifying, a bit of a trivia here. Daytona Beach, as the name implies, this is where the NASCARs used to race prior to the building of the big track here that we have in the present day, under the supervision of the first ever NASCAR president, Bill France. And this was his baby, basically, before he built Talladega afterwards. It's a great track here, and luckily we've had a road course configuration since the 60s. In fact, I think the very first one was in 1966 when he held the first Daytona 24. On board now with one of the Porsches here, coming onto the start-finish straight. Really, it's a fun car to drive. It's just a bit slower compared to, again, the aforementioned DPIs and LMP1s that they have replaced, but nonetheless, still a really good piece of kit coming into the International Horseshoe then. And look at on the side there, it says Team Redline on the window net, or rather the headrest on the side. We're on board with Max Verstappen. Would you believe it? The big man himself is coming here, and no surprise that the driver spotlight is on him. The 26-year-old, three-time Formula 1 world champion, and most recently RC's crushingly big champion. He's driving in the Porsche, of course, driving for Team Redline, and his daytime job, he drives for Red Bull Racing. And if you want to follow him on his socials, is of course at Max Verstappen 1 there. So, really then. And apparently, he's driving with a controller because he's of course now in Bahrain, getting ready for the first race in a hotel room, getting ready for the first race of the Formula 1 season. And by the looks of it, Connor, he looks very smooth with the controller. It looks like he's not been away at all.
Oh yeah, he looks pretty good with it. I was going to say Max Verstappen, he doesn't need seems like he doesn't need a steering wheel. This man knows how to drive a car with even a controller. So he's doing really well here on the banking. It actually looks like a pretty smooth lap at the moment. So he's into 7th gear, flat out on the straight now, and he's about to come across the line. If he's anywhere near pole position, I'll be not shocked at all. And where does he sit with that lap time? 18th. So he's in 18th at the moment on the controller. And I was going to say, if he was on the original sim setup that he's got set up in his bedroom, I'd say he'd be up in the top 3. But he's in 18th at the moment, and 9.4k is at the moment. But Tim State we're on board with now. So back to Tim. He's we had a commentary interview with him last night, and he seems like a really nice guy. We were talking about how much he's improved, and he's only just over the border. So if anyone wants to know, basically you need to be 2k iRating to be involved with the AMX 10 events, and he's just over, and he's been a really good competitor in the series. He's been a good guy overall, and I think he's one of the fan favourites at the moment.
Indeed, he's going to be even bigger fan favorite as well if he wins on home soil, and using VR, of course, which has been much maligned, if I'm being honest right now, because not many people love the using VR. But when it's really dialed in properly and guys really get into it, it's really a immersive experience. You can see apexes better. You can actually have a sense of where you are better compared to having either a flat or curved screen, or even, dare I say it, a triple. So really then shout out to Tim for driving in VR. But at the moment he is almost plumb last behind Max Verstappen, incidentally, and in front, just ahead of Lucas Donella, is we're now watching the two other red line drivers. Chris Lullum, who actually mentioned that Max Verstappen is actually driving with a controller in his hotel room in Bahrain, getting ready for the brand new F1 season very soon. He's right behind Luke Bennett, by the looks of it. Yep, it is Bennett driving. It's certainly same colors, same car numbers as well, 19 and 20. We saw Jason Resende exiting the pits earlier. But it looks a bit, the two red line guys are just using each other's slipstream to get faster on the banking and the straightaways here, Connor.
I was going to say, I think Max is going to try and give him a slipstream around the track just to help out his teammate, but Luke just pulling over and letting some people pass. And you can see here that they're trying to do a bit of a strategy. They, for a bit of info, they're very successful around GT3s. They got a 1-2 in the Daytona 24, and this is exactly what they did. Slipstream each other to victory. So let's see Luke Barnett do a good lap here. He's 9.4k, and he's going to go for a lap here, and I reckon this will be a very good lap around. And Galo Valero coming around as well. P6, he's our current leader in the championship. He did very well in GT3s last night, so he's back in here in the Apex racing car in the Cadillac in P6. This guy, I swear this guy is always up the front. It doesn't matter what car it is, always up the front. So he's going to come across the line again. So let's see what it is. Doesn't change from the looks of it, and he's going to go around again.
Yep, and he stays in 6th place behind Peter Zuber, who was in the comment section earlier as well. Resende, Mori, Bennett, and Lullum right in front of him. As you can see that small little icon just now. What those green, purple, and yellow bars mean? Well, purple, you're going absolutely fast. Green is having a slight improvement, and of course yellow is no improvement at all, but probably not that far off. It's just some drivers taking a bit of time to get into the swing of it. In case in point, Galero then, he was on a fast push lap, but now he's backed it off a bit to get his tires back up to temperature, not get caught up in anybody in front or behind him, just having a bit of space between himself and the others to be in no man's land and get a good run for the next one.
We're talking about Redline. Have a look at this. 1-2 for Redline at the moment in qualifying at the moment. We're just riding on with Chris at the moment, and he's got a purple sector. I wonder if this might be a good lap time, but he might have got an off track. So we'll ride on board here, see if he improves his time. So he's just under 130.4 here. So let's see if he improves on this lap time. He's going to come across the line, and I don't think he has. So Luke Barnett, though, is improved massively. I think he was about 30.9, so he's improved by 4/10, and they're going to follow each other around for this slipstream.
Yeah, and the fact that he was 2,000s behind the previous lap set by Lullum shows that he is well and truly on it. At this point in time, only about 400s behind his brand new lap that he set. So really close then between the two red line drivers, with Simon De Mori just another 3 tenths behind and on his outlap here, so we're waiting to see what he can do. and the spread of manufacturers in the GTP class, we see that all 4 manufacturers that are here, from Acuras, Cadillacs, Porsches, and BMWs, all well represented. So it's a good thing to see that it is well and truly balanced. Here are the manufacturers. We can see BMW on that particular instance, and plenty of nationalities, very cosmopolitan. On board with Nicodem Mickey. Hopefully I got that right for the Polestar viewers. Coming across the line now, it is no improvement. He stays 15th behind Eduardo Leo, but crucially though, he holds pole position for the time being in front of fellow countryman David Zivok, who is just 300s behind here, as qualifying now comes into its closing crescendo. Just 3.5 minutes left before we go racing here at Daytona.
Yeah, Kieran, we're riding on board right now. He was very successful last night. We saw him get some really good results. Harrison, yeah, just doing Harrison things, I guess. It looks like Gallo Valero and Harrison are just those type of people that just keep turning up and putting good results in, and that's what we want to see at AMX. And yeah, it's definitely going to help him in the championship. And we're just seeing there when Nico giving a little bit of a slipstream, but I think Harrison's backed out of it, and he's going to try and get another lap in. It was 17 minutes through at the moment, counting down. And I was going to say Peter Zuber, we haven't seen him around for a while, but he's come back strong in P5. Last time I saw him was Monza GTP, so it looks like he's enjoying these GTPs at the moment. And Jackson Resende as well in P4, which is an outstanding result at the moment. It looks like those Porsches are very quick.
Certainly Porsches now leading the way with the top 5. Lalo, Bennett, Dimori, Resende, and Zuba, all in Porsches. That really is the anomalous sign, as Lalo crossed the line previously before he went into a slow lap coming back to the pits. 30.3, 2/10 exactly in front of Bennett, and Bennett looks as though he's not going to be out going to do another lap here, because it is quite a long run to the line, so he doesn't want to get caught short. Remember, once the clock hits 20, yeah, big slide there from Harrison, as once the clock hits 20, that's it, your qualifying's done. You cannot do any more after that. Wow, he was really pushing it, but Harrison unfortunately still stays outside that top 5 and quite a ways away. No, in fact, no, not a ways away, about a 10th behind Juba.
Riding on with Victor at the moment, just coming across the line in P10, so he's actually not far from 15th, so he'll be starting in a really good spot for the top 15 reverse grid, which we love to watch. It's good for the stream to watch. A lot of people go, oh, it's a bit weird, but seriously, it is awesome to watch on the stream, and it's good for the money-wise as well. So if you get pole position, as we see, you get about $30, and then it goes down the list down to P15, which you get about $2, so you still get back being in the top 15. So yeah, it's good to see with these top 15 reverse grids. It makes it quite interesting. So just running on board with Victor now. He's actually behind Jackson Resende at the moment, I think. Seeing in that Porsche, there's a Porsche re-entering the show. It's actually a redline car. So I'd be kind of curious to see what redline car that is. He was trying to get out of the way there on the exit. I think that was Verstappen, so just trying to get out of the way.
Yeah, I think it might have been Verstappen, because again, he is not in that reported sim on a plane that Helmut Marko mentioned before. He is on a controller trying to make the most of a situation. And in fact, he is almost making the full use of it, because he was only about 300s behind Wisnicki. But Zivok has actually gotten up there into P15, that all-important pole position for the race itself in the Alpine colored car. And that's quite a nice bit of joke here. That's quite a nice, not on-the-nose joke, because the Acura does look a bit like the Alpine anyway, so that same chassis
this is going to be a lap and a half. Luke Bennett goes through. He's on the bottom. What does he get? Oh, he doesn't improve.
We're waiting to see if that's going to be it. No.
Oh, he didn't improve, but that was very close with the 2 red line cars coming across the line, and that's going to finish up qualifying for AMX 10 at Daytona.
Certainly, and he wanted to actually just really put it on the shine at the front, but he is exactly 2/10 in front of teammate Luke Bennett, with Simon Debori 4th, Peter Juve 5th, and Jackson Resende is 6th, so that makes it an all Porsche 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, wait, Resende is in fact in the in fact, he is Porsche, so it's a Porsche 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gavlero and best of the Acuras in 6th. Morris Ovando, best of the Americans in 7th. Harrison 8th, might be a little bit miffed by that qualifying performance. 9th, Pedro Dean, and 10th, Victor Miranda. With Max Verstappen, amazingly, up to P12 at the depth. So somehow he managed to sneak it in there, and he is going to start in P5. P4 on the grid for the first heat. So well done to the world champion here for making the most out of different situations, shall we say.
I was going to say, I'm actually not shocked that he's P4. I'm not even shocked, to be honest. On a controller, he's showing that you can race on a controller. The only person I've actually met that races on a controller full time was a guy in a wheelchair that was on a controller. Luckily, he was actually pretty quick with a controller, so good to see the controller is coming in use. So we're actually going to be getting on the format lap and get ready. And it's only a short format lap, so we'll just go through the bus stop and basically be getting ready. So here's our list for the top 15. So we've got Leo, Chino, Victor, Max Verstappen, then we've got Felipe, Victor, Harrison, so good to see Harrison up there, Pedro, Gallo Valero, which is very good to see Gallo up there. I'd say he's going for this championship at the moment. And then Boris as well, forgot about that in P9, the Texan, by the way, so it's good to see a fellow countryman. So there's our top 10, and there's the top 15 going down as well. Great to see the grid.
Yeah, right to the field.
Nice and strong for tonight.
Yep. It's a stacked grid here. 22 cars, all different cars, ranging again from the 4 manufacturers that are in GTP for the previous season and this one as well. We'll wait to see if iRacing implements more GTP cars as they come in the future, I'm pretty sure. As we're on the banking now, out of turn number 4, the traditional turn 4 for Daytona. As you can see, Verstappen weaving left and right. You can tell he's on the controller because look at the twitchy movements that he is putting in, getting the heat onto the front tires then.
You know that's really smart though. Really smart trying to get those tyre temps up, because I had a mate of mine racing these things, and he said the tyre temps are not even there. He said you've got to warm these things up to a stupid rate and try and get some heat into these tyres. So Max Verstappen knowing the strategies, so he's going to see what he can do. And here we go, AMX 10 for Daytona. We're away. Martin getting an awesome launch there with Max Verstappen coming into second place now. So he's in an awesome spot at the moment, so he basically needs to just keep it there. Martin with a great launch, so he's just pulled off. Victor getting a great launch. Oh, Victor with a huge wobble, huge crash in the background. Oh, with the 2 red line cars going 3. Look at that, huge contact. Oh, 7 cars getting a huge incident there. Chris Bennett, no, not Lukem on screen there, just laughing away. Bennett on screen there, getting through as well. Porsche on screen, back up to Max Verstappen and trying to follow with Martin.
Yeah, Lalom actually got through there quite safely. In fact, he's now behind Simon De Mori as a Acura of Galvalero is losing his rear end. And I saw a BMW rear cover cup flying as well, but out in front, Martin Chico, he's managed to actually clear away up in front of Max Verstappen, 6/10 of a second behind. Souza's in third, Dean fourth, and Resende fifth. So Brazilians third, fourth, and fifth. That would be a really good day for them if they could actually get up to the back of Verstappen and be on screen. With Lalom now carving his way through the field from P15 up behind Simon De Mori. There's Lalom on screen. Pedro Dean working on the back of Souza. Here comes Lalom onto the inside into the chicane, the Le Mans chicane now is it called. And he is up to P7. What a great start in that first lap, Connor.
Yeah, that was an awesome start.
He's in
Max
front.
Verstappen leading the race now. Martin just leading for that first lap, then Verstappen taking the lead now. So Verstappen's leading the race with a controller. The 3-time champion absolutely smashing the race at the moment. Martin almost going into the back of him there. There's the crash at turn 1 in the bottom right there. And look at that huge contact. And look at the green car there with the BMW. Bang! One of the red line cars going straight into him. So huge contact at the start. So there might be a couple of helicopters coming in for recovery there, but Max Verstappen leading the race at the moment.
As you can see that Victor Miranda was involved in all that. That's why he's in the pits. Lovato was the one that got really flung into the air, as Martin Chico now is trying to work it back at the back of Max Verstappen to get back in the lead. Lalom still continuing his surge up to the front. He's now in the top 5 behind Lovando, the fastest American at this point. As on board now with Martin Chico, how would he be feeling giddy right now, knowing the fact that the driver in front is a 3-time Formula 1 world champion, and he is on screen here trying to get up to the back of the Team Redline driver coming into the chicane. Behind them, it's Lalom behind Ovando, overtaking the, that looks like one of the, no, it's the Acura, so he's trying to get the Acura out of the way so that he can get out to the top 5. Lolum though, good start, really fast to come straight through the field. Now they're into turn 4. Momentum he's going to carry, he's definitely going to sail him by.
Yeah, Boris in front. Chris Lookham is just going to try and get around him. Boris on the inside. Chris has got no slipstream on the outside here, but Lookham's going to try and stay around the outside. He's going to do a huge dive into turn 1. Let's see this happen. He's going to get 2 spots into 1 corner. Turn 1. Is there going to be contact? No, there's not. The red line driver goes through. He's up the inside. He's going to have turn 2, holding and clenching out to turn 2, and he gets it done. Look at that. Great drive onto the exit 2. Look at that. Great drive with that. And
what a move on the outside.
Grip. Jackson Resende in the background trying to get an overtake as well on the round the outside, and it gets it done too up the inside, and it gets it done. Red line driver around. Max Verstappen trying to hold on up the inside. Checo getting the overtake and getting it done. That Verstappen on the controller looked like he had a slide and struggled there to get some grip.
I think he locked up big time there coming through the International Horseshoe. He really was stepping on the anchors. But you said Checo just now, but imagine if Checo in real life was in front of him right now. Chico, though, with a move around the outside. Lovely stuff. But even bigger kudos to Chris Lolum for getting that car stopped in time coming to turn 1. Normally you see the car skating out because the weight is shifted to the rear. He manages to hang on to it, swings around the outside of Jackson Resende and Pedro Dean in one fell swoop to get by 4 Brazilians. And now he's just on the cusp of the top 2 right in front of him. Resende, though, still in front of Dean. Obando is just watching brief. He's in the slipstream. The performance of these GTPs are more or less equal, so that's why we see really close action. There's the cars coming across now. This is the Cadillac versus the Acura in front, and a little bit Porsche in between. Let's cross the line that time around. 3 seconds to the good compared to Max Verstappen. There is Chris Lolum. He goes around the outside of his fellow teammate here. It's going to be a bit tight coming into the International Horseshoe, but by the looks of it, Lolum is going to be better on the brakes and gets by Verstappen. He has his tight set on P1 here, Connor.
I was going to say, Chris Lookham just going right around the outside and getting some awesome grip there, and Chico is just going to try and find some grip, and according to Lolham, he's just went around the outside. My apologies for botching his name. So Chris is going to try and get through Chico there, and he's going to take the lead. He's 13 spots up in 3 laps. Then he crossed the line to 4. So what a start for him. Then Max Verstappen just let him going, okay, I don't have the massive advantage with the Simbrick, so I'm going to let him go and be a good team player here. So Chris is just going to be right on the back of him, and I reckon he might get him in this chicane, and on the exit he will get it finished up, I reckon, and get some good drive. And look at this, look at the drive he's getting out of that corner. Great exit there, and he's trying to find some grip on the outside and get that slipstream on the side there, and he's not going to get it.
He's not probably going to get, he's probably not going to get the side drive, because side drive is not as powerful here compared to some other class of cars, but definitely he used the banking to his advantage coming out of turn 4, the oval turn 4. Right the outside he goes. He's done it a couple of times this heat alone, and it's a Cadillac on the inside, Porsche on the outside. Can he make it stick? He's doing it again. This is the 3rd consecutive lap that he's done so. Chico attacks him again, counterattacks, as his camera's facing upwards. He's trying to take off from Cape Canaveral into space, but unfortunately the space has been taken by Chris Lolum into the lead. A 10th ahead now, and 14 places made up in just 5 laps is showing that he is the man to watch out for in this round, as Max Verstappen now has to hold off from Jackson Resende. The Brazilian in front is not going to take it lying here. Obando though goes on the inside. Simon Demori follows suit. Pedro Dean has lost a few positions. It's all now getting in, falling nicely here as we head into the halfway point, Connor.
Yeah, we're halfway through, almost halfway, and Jackson Resende, we know he's a very aggressive driver, so I reckon he'd be very keen to just get around Max as quickly as possible. So Jackson's going to probably line him up here. I reckon Max won't have a lot of grip with that controller, so I reckon he'd be holding on just that tiny little bit. Jackson Resende on the outside. Oh, I don't think he's going to get it done. Max goes straight through the chicane.
Nope.
Doesn't even worry about Jackson Resende, and Max has actually got a huge gap there. So Jackson losing heaps of time there. And I'd say Boris right behind him is going to get a good little run here onto the back straight. And we can see Simon Demoro having a good run here. We saw him in the GT3s do really well. He said he didn't have a massive amount of practice for the GT3s, but I reckon he's put a little bit of practice in for the GTPs. Coming down in turn 1, and Jackson Resende with the huge defense drive at the moment. You know, he's a very aggressive driver when it comes to defense and offense. And he's going to try and hold up Simon and Boris. Boris up the inside. Simon Demore on the outside. He's going to try and find the grip, and he doesn't. But he gets around Boris, and Jackson Resende is still keeping that P4.
Yeah, but for how long? Because you can see Demore there really is right up his chuff. Fast driving from a fellow Porsche driver. Now it's truly Porsche 1-3-4 with Chico in between. The only driver outside of that Porsche circle is in the Cadillac. Resende, though, that time around, when he tried to overtake Verstappen held his line quite well and stalled his momentum as they came through the Le Mans chicane. That stalled his momentum all the way back to the start-finish line. But this time around, though, however, Verstappen is not getting enough punches in that Porsche, and it's going to be take 2 here, coming to the Le Mans chicane between Verstappen and Resende. Resende on the outside again, Verstappen on the inside. Verstappen holds firm and gets back on the racing line, so he's not going to try to break mid-corner to stall the momentum. But as they come out of that chicane, Demore, though, is now fancying his chances to get up to the podium.
Yeah, it does look like at this point, so Max is going to actually have a huge defense drive at this point in time. We're on lap 6 going on to lap 7, and Max is just going to try and hold him off on the inside, and I reckon he might hold him off. Jackson Resende, though, will have a huge amount of grip on the outside, but he's got Simon Demore right on his back bumper, so he's got to keep that in mind as well. So here we go, Jackson Resende trying to have a look on the outside, Max keeping on that inside, Simon trying to get it up the inside, a little bit of contact, Max is trying to run him wide and not try and get him that a little bit of grip on that outside, and Simon is going to still stay there and be a smart driver about this. Max is still on the defense driver, and Jackson's going to try and do the outside again, goes, tucks and backs in behind, and look at this, there's a 7-car battle pack at the moment for P3.
Yeah, they're piling through here, pressuring Verstappen. Of course, Verstappen eats pressure for breakfast. He knows how it feels like to be in a high-pressure scenario where a champion will win, and even a championship on the line at one point. But this is right now really the biggest challenge he's had so far. He's got 7 cars right behind, all the way up to Leo, behind Souza, with Schuber, Obando, Mori, and Resende, right, breathing on his neck here. He comes onto the chicane again, once again. Oh, that's nearly very close. Nearly. There was no contact there, but it came very close for Resende, and he has to recede the position to Demore, Obando, and Super also 23 as one driver in the Porsche livery. Oh, look at that. There he goes. Porsche livery in the middle with an Alpine colored Acura around the outside. That is Souza coming through. This is really great stuff. 5 cars across the start-finish line. Who's going to blink first coming through? Zuba actually has gotten in front of all 4. Watching up to the back of Demore. This is really great stuff. The GTPs have absolutely delivered here in a short space of time, and we still have 6 laps to watch this whole thing unfold.
Jackson trying to get around the outside again, but he's just failed on it again. So Simon on the back, we saw him being very smart. He's a very smart driver. I reckon he might be in the podium interview again. I was going to say Jackson Resende, but Simon is going to stick on the back of Max Verstappen. Verstappen's still on the defensive drive. I don't think he's got the pace to get up the front at the moment, just being on that controller. But I'm just saying, Max Verstappen is on a controller and he's in P3. It's absolutely outstanding at the moment. Simon is just going to try and see what he can do and get around from this huge pack from behind. And I reckon that pack behind would want to get around him as quickly as possible. And Max is still on the defense. Still going to cover. Let's see what happens through the bus stop. Brakes nice and early. Yeah, look at that. Smart driving by Max there.
Yeah, he gets back on the racing line. He doesn't want to go narrow there, otherwise he will eventually be caught short on the exit. But once again, that world champion mentality is coming through. He knows where to place the car and not cause any histrionics between himself and the other guys behind. But he is leaving himself open here as they come out of the traditional turn 4 on the oval. There goes Simon Demore on the outside. They're going wheel to wheel here. The 2 Porsches are almost equal on pace, but it looks as though Demore might have gotten it here on the outside, and he does make it through. But Verstappen's defense, unfortunately, has been broken apart here by yet another brilliant move on the outside. This time, however, is Demori really snapping on the ankles. Verstappen falls to 4th place, but he is still going to be happy with that result. Can you imagine a lot of drivers? It's a Matt statement to say it again. Max Verstappen on a controller on iRacing. You do not get that every day.
You definitely don't. And Leo in the Altus car at the moment, trying to go around the outside, trying to find that grip. He's going to get the slipstream off Max Verstappen for a second, so he's going to get pulled up a little bit. Boris almost going in the back of Verstappen there. Leo getting the grip up the inside. Leo's going to get the drive out of here, and look at this. We've seen Leo in the LMDH a lot in AMX, and he's been very successful in it, so I reckon he might be very successful in this race again. On the outside though, Boris trying to find some breathing room, and I don't reckon he really will. The Altus car might stamp on the brakes, and he has, and he's going to have to let go of the Porsche on the inside, so Boris is trying to hold on.
Now holding on he does, but Zuba though just gets a bit of a better momentum out of there, but they've lost a bit of draft to Eduardo Leo, so Leo now is actually going to take his fancy his chances going up to the back of Max Verstappen. In fact, he gives him a bit of a bump draft as the camera shakes. Then there's Chris Lalum and Martin Chico come through. Here they come out to turn 1 now. Around the outside goes Leo. He's the third guy to try that this time, but third time unlucky for him because he did make the move stick. Zuba picks up the pieces, and Ovando though is going to go around the outside of the International Horseshoe. Are they going to make it through? 3 different makes in there. Acura, Porsche, Cadillac, and another Acura behind, trying to actually pick up pieces for good measure. Verstappen survives yet another onslaught.
Peter Zuba doing really well in here. We've seen him do very well in AMX before. Peter Zuba trying to hold up him on the outside, 3 wide. Look at this. Leo going through in the Altus car. We've seen Altus and Red Lloyd go head to head before. Let's see it happen again. Leo getting a good exit onto the banking, and Peter Zuba holding on. And look at that, he's trying to get on the mouse and see on the black box. Zuba doing really well here, and Zuba's going to be sitting behind the Altus car at the moment, and the Alpine car is going to sit in behind, which is Felipe, which is the first Brazilian at the moment.
Yep, Felipe de Souza has... Oh, there's a bit of almost a contact there. I thought for a second that there might have been a big crash. Luckily, though, Zuba and Leo walked away with that one, and in fact, they're going to bump draft each other here, tandem drafting to get onto the start-finish straight, but they're not going to play friends for so long because you know full well Zuba is going to try that old-fashioned move again around the outside coming through turn 1 as the camera shakes. Multiple cars coming through here. Exciting stuff so far. We only have 3 laps to go right now as multiple cars coming through. Resende hits! Oh, Resende has to run around. Hits! But looks a bit de Souza as well. Goes off into the barriers is Resende and Orlando. Orlando recovers quickly. Yeah, Boris, Orlando, and Felipe de Souza. So, with that particular battle rescinding, now we can focus back onto the battle for P4. Despite not being on the podium, Verstappen is doing his best job here to just get the better of the other drivers. But Leo goes on the inside, touches Verstappen, and Verstappen is sent onto the grass.
I'm going to leave no comment on that. That was Leo straight up the inside. He was like, I've had enough. Let's just go through. And Leo just goes through and takes P5. And Peter Zuba going through in P4. So Peter actually gaining massively on that. I don't think he was expecting that, but here's the crash with Jackson Resende. And look at that. 3 cars getting taken out in turn 1. 4 cars. 5 and I reckon 6. Yep. 6 cars getting taken out in turn 1. Max Verstappen still trying to hold on here with David Perez on here.
Yeah,
Perez, my apologies.
Incidentally, he's not racing with a Mexican flag. It's in fact the United Nations flag, or it could be Somalia. I could be wrong there, but the thing is, Perez now, he has a battle on his hands in the BMW. Alongside him is Fabio Zampolini in the 327 car. And surprisingly, there's a car without a rear wing in last shot as well. That is actually Pedro Dean. Amazingly, somehow he could drive without a rear wing. And unfortunately for Perez, he's run wide. Zampolini's going to get him now, going to the International Horseshoe.
Yeah, my apologies for the names. I've only had 1 hour of sleep, so I'm struggling at the moment, but I'm on the Red Bulls, so it's all good. On the outside, Perez is going to try and keep the grip, and he's going to have the inside, so he's going to have heaps of grip here. He's going to drive on the exit. Looks like he's on a WD-40 livery at the moment. Zambolini, though, good to see him again. He was racing last night and doing really well as well. So Zambolini getting a good exit there. Not a heap of drive, but Perez getting a really good drive and having Max Verstappen's slipstream here, so that's a huge gain. And Leo's driven away, and Chris Lullum is pulled away massive with a 9-second gap, so he's absolutely locked in for the win here at the moment.
Indeed, he's definitely been the standout driver this one. $30 in his pocket for sure, as he sets the fastest lap of the race, 30.8. Across the line he goes. Perez taking a bit of a weird line here, really opening the door for Resendi to come through as we go further up in front. This is the battle for second. This is Martin Chico and Simon De Mori. De Mori really trying his luck to go around the outside there, going for the outer extremities of the track. But in turn, that is a good exit for the Porsche as he comes up to the back of the Cadillac here. Chico goes narrow, coming to the international horseshoe, but leaves it open on the inside. De Mori, they're going to go side by side here, but De Mori might just have the advantage because come through the kink, he might be on the outside, but it will become the inside coming to the next part. No, he actually touches the grass, somehow manages to keep the momentum going and gets it out to P2, but they're still going at it side by side. Chico is very lucky that he still had enough momentum going to keep him in second place, which now becomes the inside as we get up onto the apron to go transition into the oval, and Martin Chico somehow still hangs on to P2.
Solomon, he almost had that. He was so close, but Chico holding on, and De Mori is going to try and do something now, but he's going to back out and try and get him on the back straight now. Oh, no, he's backed out massively. Look at this. Is he going to try and go for the exit? Oh, he's trying to, no, but that's an off track. Is that a slowdown? Yeah. I don't think it is.
Yes, it is.
Down in the bottom right.
Yeah,
look at that. Great win for Chris.
Back it off. Yep, and he goes on to the apron. Really, it's a questionable move there in NASCAR, but Lullum takes it anyway. He's 10 seconds in front of Martin Chico, with Simon De Mori third, Peter Zuba in fourth, and Eduardo Leo in fifth. But we're watching now a drag race to the line between Max Verstappen and Zambolini. Zambolini is going to go into the apron with him, but Fabio's not going to get there. It's Verstappen, despite being on a controller, a heroic and valiant battle to get into P6. In front of Fabio Zambolini, then it's Morris Angel Obando in 8th. 9th is David Perez. 10th is Pedro Dean, despite not having a rear wing throughout the entire race. Maybe because of that collision he had earlier with Souza Resende, but manages to get through there. Miss Vicky in 11th. 12th is Souza. 13th is Donella. We didn't see much of him, unfortunately. And so is Harrison after his early woes. And towards the end, Gal Valero, he'll be on pole for race number 2, but it was a race to forget, despite having such a promising start. Watching now, David Zivok in the second of the Alpine-colored Acuras, coming across the line then. Oh, we need to get our collective breaths again. That was a breathless race, Connor.
Oh, that was awesome. I'm out of breath, mate, but yeah, sensational racing. Like I said, I'm only running on an hour worth of sleep, so my apologies, all the names that I'm cooking at the moment, but yeah, awesome racing. And we're going to go into Heat 2 now on the Daytona GTP racing, and it's going to be inverted again with the top 15, and here we go. There's our results. Take it away, mate.
Indeed, and it is Lullum with the full complement of the fastest lap as well and the race win. And of course, he set pole position, so he is actually walking away right now with a total of $64 in his pocket. In front of Martin Chico, Simon De Mori and Peter Zuba, with Eduardo Leo running out in top 5. Max Verstappen heroically goes out to P6. He was running for the most part in most of the race on the podium, but he'll have to settle for P6, and he'll take it any other way. In front of Zambolini, Ovando, Perez, and Dean running up your top 10. Nikodem Visbicki starts drivers outside that top 10. Felipe Souza 12th, Donella 13th, Harrison 14th, and 15th Gal Valero. But when we flip the script, Harrison and Valero will be on the front row. Resende will be a bit miffed to miss out on that. Tim State as well, driving with VR on home soil. She is in 17th, Zivok 18th, and well, glad to say the race absolutely delivered in this first one, the first heat. Can't wait for the second one, Connor.
I was going to say, delivered is an understatement, mate. It was a great race to watch, and I can't wait until race 2. So we're going to load in now to race 2, heat 2, and fact, look at this. Yep. Look at this. I was going to say we're on the format lap now. So it's Gallo Valero up the front, which I feel like is a bit unfair. He did this last night in the GT3s, and I reckon he might just pull away if he gets a good launch. But Harrison's right next to him though, so let's see what happens. But there's our lineup for today. We've already went through all the names. I feel like it's a bit of a stretch if we go through them all again before the start. So if you guys are enjoying it, like and subscribe, and get in the comments section, guys. We can see all your comments, so get in there, and we'll try and see your comments in the race. Yep. So if you guys are enjoying as well, go to our live timing link right there. For the last time, AMX 10.
Yep.
We're going to go again for AMX 10, Heat 2. Let's go again. Gallo Valero getting an awesome launch on the start. He's absolutely jumped everyone, and everyone's napping. And let's go into turn 1, 3 wide, 4 wide, 5 wide. Red line straight up the inside, trying to get a couple of overtakes. Oh, huge contact. Absolutely huge. 2 red line cars, Altus car in there. Yeah, that's huge. There's a good 12 cars in there.
Yeah, unfortunately, the rest was better that time around is his teammate that got involved, and then unfortunately he went from the top to now the bottom of the pile. It is Chris Lalum, but oh no wait, Lalum's actually up to P6. He managed to escape that, and Max Verstappen actually managed to clear out all that as well. He's up to P4, but he's under attack from David Perez, as a lot of it you can see there. Up to P5, P6 now, Zeppelin 7, Rene, Mata 9, Kalabi 10. That's your top 10. Rounded up for Harrison, Valero, and Dean, the drivers that really didn't know what happened behind there. It was just a massive Constantine effect where everything's tightened up and we had carnage.
I was going to say, mate, this is an awesome top 10 at the moment. We've got such a good field here. Gallo Valero just pulling away a little bit for the 710, so he's going to try and get out of that slipstream range. We saw Chris Lookham get the absolutely amazing win there, so I was going to say if he can get 9 seconds, I reckon Gallo Valero can try and pull out a second. And running on board with Max Verstappen at the moment in 4th place, he would be so grateful that he's got through that huge crash with the reaction times that man has. So he's up 6 places. Gallo Valero getting the fastest lap time with a 36.6. Up for the dive bomb. No, backs out of it halfway in car 17. Bit of understeer for the car in front. Dean, we saw Dean in the GT3s last night being very successful. Chris up the inside in the red line car, and he's right behind Max Verstappen now.
Yep, Lalum again proving to be the class of the field. He managed to avoid this wreck that we see in our inset here. It looks as though one car loses it. Might have been Lucas Dornella, which set off an absolute Constantina effect. One of the Alpines get pushed out wide. Verstappen actually gets taken out there for a second by David Perez. Manages to save it. Somehow he had 4-wheel drive coming through as we see the replay of the incident finishing up there. But great reaction time from Verstappen. Manages to hold on to it. Despite, again, we have to reiterate, driving on a D-pad.
It's just crazy when you think about it, isn't it? But yeah, Max losing the slipstream there, so it will be hard to get back in that slipstream. Going back down in the field though, Gaston, we seen him in GT3s as well last night, doing really well. He held up like huge names in the GT3 space, and I reckon he's going to do the same, and he's doing really well. So Gaston riding on board now with the Moser gear. I've just seen really good gear actually. I recommend Moser. Back up the front, Gallo Valero, and he's actually been passed by Harrison. Has there been an issue or something that's gone on? Look him.
Yeah, I think
on the outside, he's going to try and get the move done in turn 1. Yeah, he's going to try and go around the outside.
Lalum going around there. He's done that a couple of times in the previous heat. It looks as though he's got Dean and Valero for company, and Valero not having the best of runs. Maybe that he cut the Le Mans chicane, lost a heap of time, and as a result, more and more drivers are swarming around him. But luckily, though, for Valero, he got Lalum to come through and then hold up Dean from coming by. There goes the support for Valero in the comment section. But it's incidental, isn't it, that we have a driver named Perez overtaking Verstappen, just about nearly making it nip and tuck. It is a case of deja vu. Now, speaking of that, Perez is actually from behind Victor Miranda, so Miranda actually got by. Verstappen's ahead of all of them. There's the full list of names in there. Don't rub your eyes. Don't mistake it for anything. That is the real Max Verstappen in our picture, racing here right now amongst some really fast drivers on the iRacing platform, and doing well as yet again on a controller, racing from Bahrain, waiting for the start of the new F1 season.
Chris here, right behind Gallo Valero. We saw him just lose a massive lead there. So he's going to be absolutely kicking himself in that Apex racing car. The red line cars just went straight around him like it was nothing. So Chris is up to second place. So he might be on for another P1 if he can get up there. And Harrison up the front, doing really well with a 3-second gap at the moment.
Yeah, but with them fighting here, it might just create an even bigger gap for Harrison. But knowing Lawlem, how he actually can carve his way back up, it will be a case of if or not when he's going to get up to the back. As we have a funny little radio message saying Max let Checo through, and we had a battle with Martin Chico, but it was almost like Martin Perez Chico for a second because how that intense that battle was. Lawlem, Valero, and Dean, your second and fourth place drivers. We got plenty of really funny comments coming through here. We can read them as they happen. As speaking of the man himself, there's Verstappen heading off Miranda and Perez, quote unquote, but definitely not driving a Red Bull colored car here.
Yeah, we've got Victor right behind Max at the moment, just trying to find a way to get around in. Victor obviously being quite a regular around. He's 13 spots up, so he's doing really well here. Starting quite far back down the grid, so he's going to try and get around Max. Goes high. Does he go for it, or does he wait until the big straight? No, he's going to back out and wait for the straight. Max compromising that entry. He's not going to have a great exit. Victor having not a great exit either. So let's see what happens in turn one. I reckon he'll be side by side by Max into turn one, and I reckon it will happen. Max trying to hold it on the bottom. Does he go high? No, he doesn't. He doesn't cover. Victor on the outside, trying to get it done. You can see Max on the left side of his screen, side by side, across the line, out on lap 5. Does he go around the outside? Yes, he does. He tries to do it on the 3-time world champion, and he doesn't do it. Didn't have enough grip there.
Yeah,
does he go under again?
Yeah. No, it doesn't. He actually goes around the outside, coming to the international. Yeah, onto the international horseshoe. Does he make his thing? You can see his tongue is out. He is actually willing to try it. Hopefully we can stay on the camera, because if he makes the move stick, let's see what his reaction is going to be as they come to the small king up to turn number 6. Side by side between the BMW and the Porsche. There's the Porsche on the inside of Verstappen with the Red Bull / Team Redline livery. They're still going at it, and he's getting a bit squirrely coming out of turn 6. Back onto the transition, the apron. No smiles from Miranda because he knows the job's still not done yet. And Verstappen climbs back, but Miranda goes out to P5, and he could afford a bit of a smile there because he knows full well that was a good move done.
That was an awesome battle there with Victor Miranda, and he got it done there. He got it done very nicely and cleanly. No contact involved, not like the incident before with Max. So Miranda, Max is around!
Oh, Verstappen! And he's been tagged around. I would hazard to guess that Perez got into the back of him. That is the first time we had a Perez and a Verstappen name colliding.
He just locked the rears there and looked up. Max went around. I reckon he's hit the trigger a little bit too hard there. Max has just went straight around. Fastest lap by Chris Lookham as well. So let's see what happens here with up the front as well. 8/10 behind me, Gallo Valero as well. So Valero's still in the battle.
We might get a replay what happened to Verstappen there. We have two hypotheses right now. One is the one where you're saying that he had the rears locked up. The other one is that I think Perez may have actually rear-ended him. So we're definitely going to get the production team onto that one. Our excellent production team, they always get the best shots every time something happens. But we just caught the end of it. Smoke was flying, and Verstappen just sent out of the top 10, but he's still in it. Luckily for him, in iRacing, there's no flat spots, so the tires are still more or less in good condition, but they have gone through an entire heat cycle here. So
you do speak about that.
It's going to take a few corners. Yeah, it's going to take a few corners to wear off.
You do speak about the You do speak about that. They are bringing an update in that the flat spots will actually be in the game for the next update. So that will be quite interesting. I'm looking forward to the new update with rain as well. So I hope AMX puts a couple of rain races in and we can have a great show.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Gaston riding on board. And here's actually Verstappen, locked the rears right there, and he's went around. And I think Perez went through. Luckily, no contact there. And Max said, just locked the rears there. So unfortunately, he will be dropping down through the grid pretty quickly. Max has went down to 11th. But honestly, a good fight there from Max. He put a good fight up, and it just looked like the controller has just failed on him. He's got no 100-kilo brake pedal like we all do normally in a simulator.
Yep.
So unfortunate.
Yeah, luckily he didn't lose it there, especially when the Tempest rain system is coming very soon. So more slips like that are going to be common if actual rain is there. But the thing is, there's plenty of radio comments coming through about that one. Can you imagine if we add fuel to the fire? They say, I think Perez hit us. But nah, that was definitely the rears locked up big time, and unfortunately he couldn't save it there. But it was just a half bit going through the Le Mans chicane, managed to just keep it going afterwards. So he'll be happy to just finish the race in the top 15 and get his money's worth.
So Harrison up the front now. Now, we did say it before, he had a 3-second lead. It's went down to 9/10, ladies and gentlemen. That red line Porsche is flying at the moment. So Chris is just pulling him like he's a fish. And let's see Chris battle out Harrison. You can see Harrison's focusing up. He's locked in. This is the battle for P1, ladies and gentlemen. So this will be very interesting. Does Chris get another win under his belt? If he gets qualifying the 2 races, that is a lot of cash to bring home, and it makes Redline look amazing, as they always do. Chris is on the opponent cam, locked in, ready to go on the turn 2. Oh, huge. Trying to find grip with Harrison. You could just hear the car taking forever to find a little bit of grip. And Chris just found about 3/10 in one corner. Chris having heaps of grip in that Porsche at the moment.
Yeah, he's managed to preserve the tyres on that car quite well. And Harris is now under pressure from his fellow Brits. But the thing is, right, how Harrison can still manage to keep it up despite all the battles here. Battle of the Brits, case in point, that good one from, who said that just now in the comments? Just Keith. Yeah. The thing is, he's going to actually get another clean sweep. Not just a triple crown of pole position and the 2 heat wins, but he's going to get both fastest lap as well. So really then, Chris Ludlam laughing all the way to the bank with plenty to spare, plenty left to spare.
I mean, no words really, but Harrison's holding on. Kieran is just holding on at the moment, and I tell you what, he's putting a dominant performance in, and Chris is, oh, look at this, ladies and gentlemen, on the outside, he's trying to get the run, the red line car on the outside, he's almost cleared him, he's only a couple of meters off. Harrison trying to park it on the inside. Harrison's dragged him out. The red line car is on the outside trying to find grip. Harrison's still there. Not there. Does Harrison go under? There's a car parked on the track. That was a bit weird. Yeah. Red line car's got around him, and Chris is already 3/10 in front of him. What a battle. Harrison, I reckon he'd be a bit like, well, that kind of sucks. But at the same time, Chris would be cheering it. And if Chris can hold this off, that's 3 for 3, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, the Triple Crown, as we always mention, because Triple Crown, of course, is always the big races that you have, like Indy 500, Monaco Grand Prix, and Le Mans 24 Hours in one go. But we have our own Triple Crown. It's qualifying on pole position and 2 heat wins. But we can also add to that a complete gentleman's set. He literally won it all. Even the fastest laps are even taken by him. Like, he scooped them up in a vacuum cleaner and just took away the prize for that one. Really, really impressive stuff. And he still, I think, has plenty left in the tank. If we look at further behind, this is a battle between P7, 8, and 9 between Martin Chico and Victor Lobato. So the Argentine versus the Iberian here for the fringe place of the top 10, with Max Verstappen only about 3 seconds behind, so he managed to recover from that spin and still be in the top 10.
Yeah, I think Max is gained a spot actually. So Max is on a bit of a grind, but he's doing all right back there. Here's a bit of contact though. This is probably a bit of base. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, the one
So
that is
this
so
is-
Harvey that we saw just now. Yeah.
Yeah. That. Oh, he's. Okay, so I think from before we did see a car stopped on the side of the road. That could have been the reason, I reckon. Meanwhile,
Yeah, I think
up the front, we
because
did say,
yeah.
yeah, we did say before Chris pulling about a bit of a gap and Harrison just holding on for a second, but it looks like Harrison's still hanging on. He's doing well, and Gallo Valero, by the way, is only a second away. So does Gallo go for a move and try and get those extra $2, or does he just take the P3 and take those championship points? Meanwhile, Max Verstappen, P10, he's 2 seconds off, trying to find some time on Victor right in front of him. And yeah, Max is looking pretty good at the moment. Somehow he's finding grip in that controller. I don't know how, but he is. And Martin here as well.
Race leader is now in P8. The half at 1 point, but he's happy to just take away and here's the front. Nobody behind, nobody. The 2 seconds behind is Roberto. In front of me is Lamborghini. Again, you'll be happy to just take the P8 and the money that goes along with it. As you can see, the top speed of every single car that came through, and quite a testament to how well balanced the class is. Somehow Valero managed to get up to 334 kilometers per hour. Maybe he got a double slipstream to get up to that ridiculous speed, as we saw some battles going on. So maybe that's why he got his 334 km per hour speed trap numbers. Lowest 314, Ovando probably due to the damage, as we now go up to Valero, chasing after Kieran Harrison. He's got a bit deep, but he only has 3 laps left here to get by Harrison.
I reckon Harrison's going to put a fair shot up to him. We've seen Harrison and Gallo go at that GT3s. We haven't seen it in GTPs though, so this should be quite interesting. So about a second back or so. Lap 11 going on to 12 in a couple of minutes. Or a couple of minutes, I mean a couple of corners. But we're just on the back straight now, and look at this. Awesome shot from there, just in the infield onto the oval. And Gallo Valero just concentrating, rubbing the nose. The Frenchman, we've seen him be really good in these, just endurance cars, really. Like, he hasn't really been bad in any of them. He's just been really good.
Yep, really consistent across all types of cars and types of platforms that he's driving on. And in particular, we know that he's good in TCRs, but in this case, GTP is not too shabby, as we got someone giving an order for Big Smoke from GT San Andreas there for a second. It's Nico Godoy, so he's actually asking for a hamburger, medium chips, and Coke. I'm sorry, but Big Smoke and CJ are not here with us right now. As we are looking at Chris Lallam on the penultimate lap, 2.6 seconds ahead of Kieran Harrison, with Valero closing in on Harrison now by just under a second. Between the Frenchman and the Brit. Looks as though we're going to have a great battle towards the end. And glad to see that the top 3 is not all Porsches this time. Yes, Porsche leading the way, but we get an Acura in second and a Cadillac in third. Unfortunately, the best of the BMWs right now is only P5, in fact. Victor Miranda is the P5. So, okay, top 5, all 4 manufacturers represented is good. But Valero not mind that one bit. He'll love to get extra $2 on his wallet and try to increase his championship lead.
100%. I think if the move's on, I reckon he's going to send it. He's only got, we've got one more lap to go. I would honestly send it. But at the same time, race 1 wasn't good for him. So maybe he's just thinking, I'll just sit here for a bit. Harrison's had a really good race 1 and race 2. So for him, this would be a bit of, okay, I'm going to just kind of chill out. If he goes for a dive, I might just back out of it a little bit. He put a fight up to Chris, but that just didn't end up happening. Chris pulling about a 3-second gap, and we're going to be going into white flag this lap. And ladies and gentlemen, this will be white flag, heat 2, AMX 10 at Daytona with GTPs. Here we go. Gallo Valero on the hunt, and on the hunt, trying to get down Harrison. We have seen this before multiple times, and Harrison just flying. Gallo Valero huge on the brakes there, trying to find as much time as possible, get that slipstream before the banking. He wants to be 3/10 back on the banking if he can, but he needs to find 2/10 in this one corner. We're down to 4/10 now. Huge braking zone here. Oh, he's gained. He's still gaining. Gallo Valero doing well. Gallo Valero is still trying to get that exit, and he's got the exit down pretty well. Harrison on the focus. Oh, good apex by Harrison there. He's going to try and get a good exit off there, and he has. It's 5/10 back, 4/10. Let's see the gain here.
Yeah, but unfortunately, coming onto the apron in transition to the oval, that was not the best of exits for Valero, as Harrison now will have a bit of a slight relief, but the slipstream is very powerful there. You can see even just 4/10 of a second is enough for Valero to get back as they come to the Le Mans chicane, but it looks as though, barring some calamity happening out of there like a cut track, Harrison is going to hold on to it. He has a very good exit out of the Le Mans chicane. Meanwhile then, Chris Lollam is well on his way to be laughing all the way to the bank with a triple crown and then some. The complete gentleman set. He gets the fastest lap. Okay, now gentleman set, Grand Slam. There he goes across the line, takes the win in Heat 2 with another fastest lap. Harrison comes across the line in second, Valero in third, Pedro Diniz wings behind there in 6th place. In 4th place with 6 seconds to his name there. Lollam with an absolutely brilliant performance. He got it in there just at the end with another amazing drive in AMX 10. Perez comes across the line in 6th, Zempoli 7, Chico 8, Bato 9. Look at Chico now. And 10th, Max Verstappen, despite being under control, has still held his ground very well and gets it up there for $7, but he'll be happy with his performance despite having a lot of challenge along the way as he hits Chris Love for shots and goggles. That's how shots and giggles, how we say. Demori comes in 11th, Obando 12th, 13th Seawalt, 14th Team State, and 15th Kohlhavi. There you go, that's your top 15. Connor, what an amazing pair of race heats that we had.
Oh, that was amazing, mate. We saw those top 3. Let's be honest, they are probably the top 3 in AMX at the moment. Those 3 were just amazing drivers, and yeah, we saw them battle out again. So good to see. And Checo returned the bank. So the bag. So yeah, no, good to see everyone with the comments. And yeah, there's some interesting comments coming through now. But guys, keep on bringing them through. And Heat 2 is finished, and that's pretty much wrapped up the racing. But now we've got interviews, and we're going to get through those as well. But there's our results. Ben Q winner as well.
Yeah, thank you, session winner Chris Lollam with, of course, the fastest lap. That again reiterates the point that he not only got the triple crown, but a grand slam. The entire round, the entire race was his, and well, deservedly so. He was definitely the class of the entire field. Harrison second and Valero third. That would be a podium. 2 Brits and a Frenchman, with Pedro Dean and Victor Miranda, the best of the Brazilians, in 4th and 5th. David Perez in front of Zampolini, Chico, Lobato, and of course, noteworthily Max Verstappen, fighting his way despite using a controller to be in the top 10 in both races. Outside of that, Simon Demori, Bolis Ovando, Zipok, Tim State, Kohlhavi, top 15 that gets the last of the points. Nikodem Bezbicki, we didn't see much of him because he had that major accident at the start of the race with Peter Zuma, Eduardo Leo, Jackson Resende, and Luke Bennett round out your 22 car field after that. Yep, we might just get a few guest stars here, and then by looks of it, it might be Chris Lollam coming in. So without further ado, Connor, you can take it away for the interviews.
Swipe.
All right, so we're still gonna get the interviews prepped up, but key takeaway from that is that Lolum seems to just get a good handle on the Porsche real well compared to the other guys, and that really showed his mastery of the car, isn't it? Mastery of the car, mastery of the track, he knew where to overtake. He was just absolutely crushingly the class of the entire field.
100%. Okay, so we're going to move on to the interview now. So we're going to swap over. Hello, Chris, mate. What a race. You've basically just won everything, mate. How do you feel?
That's one way to word it. Yeah, no, it was good fun. There was quite some carnage at the beginning of each race, so I think that sped up the process a little bit.
I think carnage is an understatement, mate. You got through the field pretty quickly. I'm not gonna lie. You made 14 spots up in both races, pretty much. Mate, Redline's on a bit of a roll at the moment, mate. Do you reckon that momentum's just bringing you know, that momentum into every race now? Do you think that?
Yeah, I would say so, because I mean, also in the Porsche Super Cup, in the special events recently, you know, we've been at the front and everything at the moment, and it just, I think it carries into everything you do, you know. You're always operating on that level, regardless of what you're competing in. So, yeah, no, that's true.
100%, mate. You've shown that you deserve to be in any team, mate, and Redline's definitely the team for you, mate. But I was going to say, I've completely lost all my words, but mate, would you like to thank anyone for tonight? Anything?
I think Max should be thanking me for the slipstreaming qualifying, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. He, on the controller, mate, it's a bit weird when you go, he's on the controller and he still gets 10th in a race and 4th. It's a bit outrageous, but mate, what a race. Well done.
Yeah, thanks for having me. See you later.
It's out. And we're moving on to our next interview. Harrison, mate, what a race. I think that was a very dramatic race. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the second one, not so much for me, because it started at the front. I'm sure I saw there was a huge pile-up in turn one right behind me, but luckily I got away with it. It's a bit of a shame for my race that Chris Lullum managed to get through, because I was never going to be able to hold him off, but yeah, I mean, I'm just happy to recover after the first one. I was pleased to make the reverse grid in the first place.
Yeah, you had a very exciting race too. I think we should probably touch on that more than anything. You had Delio Valero just hunting you down for that last 2 laps, mate. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, I was starting to get annoyed at myself, because I think I had, when he started to close in, I think I had enough of a gap if I'd driven like reasonably okay to not let him get close, but I just kept locking up into turn one and running wide. I was giving up like 4/10 or something. It's about 2 or 3 laps in a row I did that. So I was pleased that I nailed the last lap at least, so he didn't actually get, he didn't quite get close enough to have a go, but yeah, I was just hanging on at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point to touch on, where, you know, a lot of people see these cars and think, oh, it's an easy car, it's got downforce, but when you really get in these cars, they're such a tricky car with the brakes. I jumped into it the other day, I was like, yeah, no thank you, I'll go back to my LMP2 and V8 supercar. So, mate, can you kind of touch on that for the viewers that are watching at home?
I mean, I don't think they're as hard as the V8 supercars. I think that's the hardest thing I've driven, but yeah, I'm not really that familiar with them, so it's a bit of a weird car to drive. As you say, there's no ABS, so that's really key. I think I don't know how much it ruins the tires when you're locking up the fronts, but for me it was always front lockups I was struggling with into the the slowest corners, and then just trying to get the traction. It's like at some point in the revs, the ERS boost kicks in, and if you're not ready for that, it just suddenly steps out, and you hit the traction control and get a terrible exit. So it's just kind of getting used to the hybrid nature of it as much as anything is the key thing.
Well, it seems like you got used to it at the end, coming home in a P2. And I was going to say, with this new rain system coming in, would you be driving in your GT3 for the Sebring 12-hour, or are you going to try and do the GTP for the 12-hour coming up?
I don't know. It's probably not going to be GTP. It might have to be LMP2 for me with to get top split with my iRating these days. But yeah, probably LMP2 or GT3. We'll see how the rain goes with these cars. I don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on it with my fellow commentator about the rain, saying how interesting it's going to be. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping AMX are going to do a couple of races with the rain, and I'm sure we are. So I'm looking forward to that as a commentary side. And mate, you had a good round at GT3. I feel like you're getting onto a bit of a roll now. You know, GT3 last night you were very competitive, and now you've done GTP. I think you're starting to get into a bit of a rhythm at AMX.
Yeah, a bit of a shame last night. I literally had a power cut in my whole area, like immediately after I set the pole time. So I was hoping to get back on in time for race 2, but it came on about 20 minutes too late.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I had a good day on Tuesday as well in the TCR. So yeah, not too bad of a week for me.
Yeah, I've never watched the TCR, but I hear so much about it. I think I need to go and watch back a couple of the streams. But mate, great racing tonight. Would you like to thank anyone of your sponsors, family, or anything, mate? Go for it.
Just thanks to my team, and of course all my family and friends who tune in to watch my races every week. And that's it, really.
Well, mate, well done for tonight. I'll probably see you next weekend, next weekend. So, mate, awesome racing tonight. I'll see you next time.
All right, cheers.
Thanks, mate.
Yep, and that was quite a. Oh yeah, sorry there, Connor. Yeah, that was an insightful interview for both Chris and Kieran. Yeah, it was very insightful for the both of them because we get to see how they operate like that. But for Chris in particular, Team Redline, really top dog team. You really know what you get into when you want to race for them. It's just like Raven West Motorsport in the Grid Series, or driving for the Midnight team in Japan. You know, the Wangan like that. It's the reputation on the line, and the thing is, despite that, it almost looks effortless from Chris saying that he could operate on any of that on a level that high, regardless.
Yeah, it seemed like that. I kind of touched on it. He was like, I said to him, you know, with this momentum, you're just going into every race, just with the momentum of, we've won this much, I've just got to perform at that level. So, yeah, awesome drive by Chris. And same with Harrison. Like I said to him, you're starting to get that momentum now with the GT3s and GTPs. I can imagine he's going to be a very, very, very fast guy in AMX very shortly.
Certainly, and he's already proven that. Though, in terms of championships, he may be just a bit outside of that particular battle. But regardless, this clean sweep literally was just showing, what he could do when he's really going full pelt. And talking about Kieran, though, again, he was happy with the result being second, but he was probably not happy with the race given the fact that he had some mistakes that let the win slip away slightly, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was definitely a bit of that, but yeah, it was. I don't know. I think the main point we should talk about is the controller freak. That's what I'm going to call him from now on. Max Verstappen on the controller, just dominating on a controller. I don't know how he's done it, but he's done it, and I think he needs to be more on a controller, so it's a more level playing field now.
No, we were kind of robbed a bit of a race, if we're honest, because if he had the same rig that was on his private jet that Helmut Marko mentioned before, we will probably have an absolute stonking battle up in front. No, it was great to still see him battle it out because he probably didn't see much of that. He didn't see much of that last season, obviously. So he gets to have a bit more fun in the virtual as opposed to doing his day job.
Yeah, definitely. You know, talking about his day job, he's very, very, very successful, and we hope that for, you know, the season he's going into now, 2024, we all hope that he has a great season. And yeah, I think if he drives like this on the sim, you know, that's why he's so good in a real race car. And we all hope to be in a race car, but he can kind of carry the name for all of us. And AMX is obviously on the red line cars as well, so it's good. It's good to see the movement getting around with the sim community as well. But mate,
Yeah.
what an awesome night. What was your overall result?
Yeah, before we get into that, the overall result, I was going to say that, yeah, he's the best advocate, Max, for sim races, because he literally is the guy that we will aspire to be. A real good real racer in real life, but really fast on the sim. And the major takeaway from tonight is, of course, just Lalon's performance, to be honest, is just unbelievable. That he could just start from P15, escape the early carnage twice. We had in both heats, where we had a big first corner accident to take the win in both heats, and along the fastest lap and in both races, in both heats, and of course qualifying on pole. It just doesn't get any better than that. Actually, he's just laughing all the way to the bank, knowing the fact that it's just like light World Cup for him. It was really like looking like that, but pretty sure he had to really work for it when the battles came around.
Yeah, it was almost like he just went to the shops, got some groceries, and drove home. Like that's how he was just driving. You could just see he was smiling and laughing at the same time. So it's great to see. So yeah, I think for all those guys, you know, when Redline do jump in, it's just another level for everyone, and it's great to see, and everyone gets involved. Like there's such a, I think there's so many levels to AMX now. It's great to see. As well.
Indeed. From the front all the way, from the front all the way to the guys who are battling for the fringe points, it doesn't matter. It really shows that you can mix it with the best of these guys. And we saw just now, I think, looking at the live timing, yeah, World Championship rated drivers, 10K plus I rating, especially with the likes of Lalum. So really, that it just shows the quality of the field that comes through. Now we get to see the full race results after a fantastic couple of heats here at Daytona in the GTPs. Let's roll the results and see who won out overall. And there's no surprise, $98 to his name, Chris Lalum, taking the full glut of the points and the prize money after winning both heats. Yep. It's Ashley Harrison on the picture there, but either way, that's you get the point across. They're both British guys, so you can pretend that's Lalum on the screen. Demori in second place, $54 to his name. Zuba in third, despite his woes in the race. And after that, guys in the top 10, Martin Chico and Waterleo, who had really good fights with Max Verstappen, who's in P6. Boris Erechel Ovando could have actually had a better race too, had he not been taken out at the start, with Bedrodine 8th, 9th Luke Bennett. It's a case of what might have been for Luke had he not been taken out in both heats at the start. And running up your top 10, equal on prize money, is Fabio Zampolini. So that's your top 10 then. It's no surprise then who actually won up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of not shocked, but Simon Moreau, Simon, you know, getting a great result there. We saw him in the last couple of races, doing really well, and yeah, I mean, Chris obviously getting $98 is a bit of a victory, if you do want to say that. He's only $2 off $100 though, so yeah, but awesome result there.
Excuse the pun, but that's the
100%.
max you can get. That's the max you can get for the entire run anyway, $98. Yes, I use the word max there advisably, just to play on the words. But yeah, no surprise again how he got through that. But surprise as well that how Simon Demori, despite not so good heat number 2, is still up there in P2 in the race results. And of course, shout out as well to every single one of the drivers that took part here today. They really made the racing. They made Max Verstappen really work for it. And it's nice to see that. I think Max had a bit of fun in between, as opposed to going back to his day job after this, which probably, inevitably, he might dominate again. Who knows? The season has a lot of unknown variables, but what is known, this one, it really delivered on the action, didn't it, Connor?
Yeah, definitely. It delivered as it always does at AMX. If you guys are putting it, come check it out. AMXrace.com. Check us out. Pretty much everywhere in Chrome. And then when it comes to all our socials, they're right at the bottom actually. So AMX Global, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, which is X, Discord. Come check out the Discord. The Discord's quite funny. There's always banter going on. You can talk to an 11k driver and you can just have complete banter with him. It's great fun. YouTube, obviously, that's what we're streaming on at the moment, and same as Twitch. Then obviously with our website where you sign up and then you get the entry, password, and then Zoom link to get in, which is amxrace.com website. Then obviously we've got our TikTok as well, which all the good stuff goes on that, and you can have yourself on there. So I think we're pretty close to wrapping this up.
Yeah, we are wrapping this up. So thanks for reading out all the socials on there. Thank you for everyone for joining. Thank you for the drivers for giving us a great race, and the production team behind the scenes who put up with the great replays and all the stuff that we have so that we can call the action smoothly. But apart from that, there's nothing more to add. So from me, Amir, alongside me, Connor, it's goodbye and see you for the upcoming race week that's coming up very soon. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.